Saints was brilliant for the first 45 minutes in their opening World Cup match against Wales. But in the second half, Wales was in control. And then Walker Zimmerman had a poorly timed tackle of Gareth Bale in the penalty box. And Gareth Bale on the penalty kick in the 82nd minute evens the score. We are now in the 10th minute of stoppage time. There was only scheduled to be 9, but the Welsh players are flopping like dead fish. U.S. and Wales all tied up 1 apiece. Matt Turner has made a great save, but the story in this one bad, poorly timed challenge by Walker Zimmerman to Gareth Bale led to a penalty kick. Timothy Weah has the United States goal. Time winding down in this opening match. NFL news. Matt Eberflus says Justin Fields day-to-day dealing with a shoulder injury. No Kyler Murray tonight for the Cardinals. Cardinals and Niners in Mexico Stadium. Monday Night Football, 8:15 Eastern, ESPN.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. This has been a rare wake-up on a Monday where it's a weekend where both the Saints and Tigers win. It's actually the first time this year where both LSU and the Saints were winners in the same weekend. An odd coincidence that's happened that way, but this is the first. So I enjoy these wake-ups because they have been non-existent so far this year. But Tigers beat UAB 41-10. LSU moves to 92 on the season. Saints go to 4-7 after their win over the Rams 27-20. We'll get to the Saints here in about 12 minutes from right now. We'll open up talking a little bit about LSU. Tigers beat UAB 41-10 Saturday in Tiger Stadium. And, over the course of, I don't know, certainly my time covering the team, from time to time, LSU will run up in one of these group of 5 games, these non-conference sort of, layups or, cupcakes, guarantee games, whatever you want to call it, where you face a team that actually does present a little bit of a threat. And it's not often, but sometimes you'll run up against one of these teams that does something really well that is cause for concern. I remember in 2015, LSU played Western Kentucky, and their quarterback that year was Brandon Doty, and Doty threw 48 touchdowns that year. 48. I mean, that's bumping up on the season Burrow had in 2019. And obviously Burrow had 15 games to do it. So I remember looking at that game and going, man, look, this guy can sling it around, leads the country in touchdown passes. It's going to be a test for the secondary. And LSU won the game 48-20. And then, I can go all the way back to 2003. Remember LSU played Louisiana Tech in 2003. This is a different reality. But Luke McCown was the quarterback. Ryan Moats was the running back who ran for 1,300 yards that season. It was a really good offense. And although LSU ended up winning the national championship, none of us at that point in the season were thinking national championship, but that was a very validating win when they choked out that Louisiana Tech offense. So from time to time, you can learn things about a team meaning you play one of those games and you're supposed to dominate it, but you don't let circumstance affect you. And that's what great teams do. And I feel like LSU did that on Saturday with the win over UAB. It was rainy. was 30 degrees. The stadium was empty. You're looking ahead to next week. You've got an SEC championship game to play in coming up. And you were facing the team that had the nation's leading rusher in Dwayne McBride, 1,400 yards already on the season, and you held him to 34 rushing yards. It was just an awesome, dominant performance. So, I mean, I get all the circumstances that surrounded that game that were not ideal, but I do think LSU deserves quite a bit of credit for the way they played that game and dominated. Jaden Daniels was super efficient, 22 of 29 for 297 in the score. He protected the football. There were a couple of fumbles, which we'll talk about here in just a second. LSU was 11 of 13 on third down, and one of the third down misses was when Nussmeier had gone into the game. So with Daniels in there, they were 11 of 12 on third down. It was just incredible. 565 total yards. They exercised all of the demons of a week ago where the offense was sluggish against Arkansas and went out and played exceptionally well, which was great to see. And listen, this is what Brian Kelly kind of said as he led off his press conference today on Monday when he met with the media about all of those circumstances and still being dominant.
For 4 quarters and in less than ideal conditions, not a full crowd, coming off of an incredible environment 2 weeks prior at Alabama. All those things usually equal into a change in the way you think. But their consistent application of our process has allowed them to, play each game with a faceless opponent and go out and do their job the right way, and was really proud of them.
Faceless opponent. I mean, that's something you hear coaches preach, but LSU's actually been able to do, where one game doesn't get bigger or less than the next because of who the opponent is. You go play your game, and that's what you try to cultivate and create as a championship team and program. Couple of observations from the game itself. Considering how bad the offense was against Arkansas, to go out and score on your first possession was significant. Look, they got no Kayshon Boutte. You got Malik Neighbors involved. The first 2 plays of the game, you went to Neighbors. The second play was a 47-yard completion down the right sideline, which kind of set the tone. They responded to adversity. Ensuing kickoff, you allow a 66-yard return. 3 plays later, UAB's in the end zone. You're in a tie game, and you could think, oh, man, it's going to be one of those days where the group of 5 is playing their Super Bowl and you're sluggish, and LSU just didn't allow it to happen. They responded immediately, got a lead, never relinquished it. After UAB put 10 points on the board in their first 2 drives, they literally didn't score again. And you credit UAB. Look, they knew everyone knew they were going to try to come out to stop McBride, so UAB came out throwing. They had some success early as soon as LSU adjusted, and it was lights out. So great performance, a dominating performance by LSU. I thought the running back rotation is something that's going to get a lot of conversation, and justifiably so. There was no Josh Williams. As we learned, he's dealing with a knee sprain, and Armani Goodwin's done for the year. So you are dangerously thin at running back right now, where on Saturday, the only scholarship running backs you had were John Emery and Noah Cain. And Emery fumbled a couple of times in the ball game, as we saw, and Noah Cain made the most of his opportunity. Now, Jaden Daniels led the team with 12 carries for 111 yards and a touchdown, but Noah Cain had by far his most productive game of the season, where he ran 13 times for 76 yards, averaged nearly 6 yards a carry, and was very north and south. Brian Kelly was asked today about Noah Cain and talked a little bit about Cain and his role and what his role will be moving forward, and it becomes more relevant now, especially because of the fumbles.
Noah Cain has helped himself, right? I mean, he's not flashy. I don't think he's going to be a guy that makes a ton of people miss, but does he really have to, right? He plays with low pads. He's physical. He's smart. He catches the ball coming out of the backfield. He's reliable in pass protection, and he's tough to bring down. I mean, I just think I mentioned 4 or 5 things that are pretty good to have. He doesn't have, maybe some of those, wow factors, but steady and physical, and I think he leads our team in rushing touchdowns in terms of the running back position. So it's been extremely effective for us.
A lot of people have listen. My guess is if Josh Williams needed to play on Saturday, he would have. You didn't need him to, so you had the luxury of sitting him. A big question is going to be: does Cain now take Emery's reps, considering John Emery fumbled twice? And maybe the answer is maybe, because you're certainly going to have to value ball security. But here's the challenge when it comes to John Emery. John Emery gives you game-breaking ability. There's no back on LSU's team that scores on the 30-yarder against Bama that Emery did on the swing pass, except John Emery. because he's that physically gifted. So you have to balance the explosive playmaking potential that John Emery has, but also the fact that he struggled to hang on to the ball, which has been his MO since he's been on campus. Early in his career, it was his inability to catch the ball out of the backfield that really hurt him. And hanging on to the ball has been a problem. So I still maintain you got to have John Emery because you need the skill set. It's like a game-breaking wide receiver that can blow the top off the defense, but maybe doesn't catch everything you throw to him. You still need to be able to stretch a defense. With John Emery, he puts pressure on a defense because of his physical ability. You're going to have to find a way to do that. The thing you can coach is ball security. And I get it. At this point in his career, it's fair to say, like, he's struggled to protect the ball. But you can't coach his physical ability. And he's got something that, a couple of plays a game can flip the field, can put points on the board, and you need that in the offense. So do his touches get limited? Probably. And Brian Kelly acknowledged that Noah Cain probably has earned himself more touches by the way he played on Saturday. But you can't just punt John Emery. He's too good of an athlete, too dynamic of a player with game-breaking ability on an offense that doesn't really have that at the running back spot except for John Emery. So you got to find a way that, the onus on Frank Wilson at this point is find a way to coach ball security into that guy because you need him. We did see Garrett Dellinger back for the first time since his knee injury. It was nice to see him get involved. Marlon Martinez got the start at center. I'll tell you, I think that was significant as well. The fact that Marlon Martinez got the start at center. They gave Charles Turner the day off. And, earlier in the year, we legit didn't know who would be the backup center. Remember, Garrett Dellinger started the first game at center, and you knew Charles Turner was next. But when Turner became the starter, we didn't know if Dellinger was the backup. Well, now we know it's Marlon Martinez. And in a game where it was less than ideal conditions, Marlon Martinez played pretty well, all things considering. You had maybe a low snap here, but it was by and large, it was indiscernible the fact that you had a change at that position. So that was very good to see. Malik Neighbors had a great day. I mentioned the special teams, the 66-yard return you allowed. You had a penalty on a punt return. Look, rinse, repeat. We know LSU has struggled at special teams all year, and I don't know that at this point in the season you can expect that to change. But on a day where you needed to go out and just take care of business, stay healthy, get the win, and get on to next week, LSU did just that. Now you turn the page to Texas A&M, a chance to get to 10-2 in the regular season and keep all of your playoff aspirations alive as you head to the SEC championship. So Tigers win 41-10 over UAB, get a chance to rest a lot of guys, and now it's on to the Aggies. All right, it's after further review. We will spend plenty this week, no doubt, talking about Texas A&M and all the issues that they have had, which have been plenty throughout the course of the season. But none of that matters on Saturday. LSU's got to go get a win. All right, quick break. We appreciate you for being with us. You can always email us, tweet us. You can jump in the Buy Ford YouTube chat on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel or text 225-396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways you can get involved in the show. So feel free to get your comments, questions, all that in. Tons of football talk throughout the show today. Now, got a quick break. Come back and recap the Saints win over the Rams. Maddy Hudak will be here in hour 3. Cole Cubelic 1 hour from right now. Glad you're aboard with us on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
Always love telling you about Insurance Network of Louisiana. Y'all can look at the calendar, and this week is Thanksgiving. You're about a month away from Christmas. And around the holiday season, a lot of people get stressed financially. You got to buy gifts for family, and there's parties, and there's lots of things that stress people's bank accounts. So a lot of people may be thinking, how do I earn more money or how can I save money? Well, what about insurance? I tell you this all the time. Insurance Network of Louisiana, they're an independent insurance agency that shops for free to find you better coverage for less money. They have relationships with dozens of the top-rated companies in the world. So it's not just like signing up for cut-rate insurance that's going to leave you exposed. This is A-rated companies that are going to give you premium insurance at a fair price. When they go compete, you have the opportunity to save, and that's what Insurance Network of Louisiana does. Give them a call at 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Third down and 9. Dalton heaves this one downfield. It is caught and taken in by Olave for a Saints touchdown. 52 yards.
It's out on Fox TV. Chris Olave, 52-yard touchdown reception from Andy Dalton. The Saints do, in fact, beat the Rams 27-20. So it was nice. Look, man, well, it's been a rough season for New Orleans, obviously. We came into this season with high expectations. Many of us thought they'd be a playoff team. I certainly thought they would be. A combination of injuries and poor play, poor coaching has led them to be a team that is going to be on the outside looking in, sort of looking for the future, and ominously because of your lack of draft capital, but still looking for good moments when you can find them. And yesterday was one. So the Saints beat the Rams 27-20. I know full and well Matthew Stafford left the game, and you beat a team that had Bryce Perkins playing quarterback. Bryce Perkins went 5 of 10 in the football game for like 64 yards. So I do understand that, but it's a pro football game. There is a next man up mentality. Someone goes out, the next person is expected to perform, and the Rams couldn't do that. The Saints did on Sunday. So the Saints beat the Rams 27-20, and they moved to 4-7 on the season. A couple of things, and I would say this: definitely enjoy the win. And it's a tough spot, sort of emotionally for Saints fans right now, because wins have been hard to come by. And we are so accustomed and have been accustomed now for more than a decade to thinking this team is going to be in the playoffs, is going to be competing for something of significance at the end of the season. And in particular, really the last half decade when the Saints have been in win now, go for broke mode at the end of the Drew Brees era and then carrying on into this year, where they have been willing to forfeit and leverage their future to win now. And so when you're sitting here 11 games into the season at 4-7, knowing full well that you have no chance of winning this year, and you also can't really, for lack of better phrase, tank because you don't have a first-round pick, and there's no sense in doing it. You're just handing the best team in the NFL, in the NFC, the Eagles, an even higher draft pick. You'd like to see the team win, but you're sort of conflicted as to what you're actually cheering for at this point because you're not going to salvage anything this year, and losing doesn't do you any good because it's not going to increase your lot in the draft. So you'd really like to see the team find a way to play better and win some games and play for the future and to learn what you can about this team. But in the meantime, just enjoy Sundays. So the hard part is just allowing Sunday to exist in a vacuum where the Saints won a football game and you're not worrying about what it means for the big picture in the future. The thing I will tell you, so compartmentalize that. Understand, let Sunday exist in a vacuum. Enjoy it for what it was. You got to see the Saints play well on both sides of the ball and win a game, and that's fun. But when you pull back and you take the 10,000-foot view, the thing that you have to understand is Sunday was not a steady glow. It was a glimmer. If you're trying to say, hey, look, man, they looked awesome on Sunday. They beat the Rams. Dalton was super efficient, 21 of 25 for 260 and 3 touchdowns. Andy Dalton, maybe that's the thing that's going to swing the pendulum back, and he'll finally start playing consistently. And they got Taysom Hill involved, and boy, that looked dynamic. And boy, look how good Olave was. And you got Jarvis Landry back, and the defense held up great. You put up 323 yards of total offense. You could say all of that and hope that that's a sign of things to come. And I'm here to tell you flatly, it's not. I'm not trying to be the Debbie Downer. I'm not trying to tinkle in your Cheerios. I'm not trying to rain on your parade or any of that stuff. We are 11 games into this season, and we know what Andy Dalton is. We know what this Saints team is. That would be the same narrative that we heard after the Saints beat the Seahawks. Remember, open the season, you rally against Atlanta, gung-ho, could it be? Then you lose to the Bucs, you go on the road, disappointing against the Panthers, you turn the ball over against Minnesota, and you lose that one in London. You come home and beat the Seahawks and think, all right, maybe they found something here. Maybe they found something. And the division was playing so badly at the time, you realize 2 games in 5 days, man, you could be back above 500 and leading the division. And they gagged it away at home against the Bengals. And on a short week, went to the Cardinals, 2 pick sixes, an interception in the end zone. You lose 2 games in 5 days. For all intents and purposes, it's over. They come home and play the Raiders. They blank them 24-0. And it was the same thing. Oh, maybe they found it now. Look, it was disappointing. You could explain away all of the shortcomings prior. And you say, look, inexplicably, right there, you go beat Baltimore on Monday Night Football at home, and you're back tied for first place in the division. And you played your worst game of the season and lost 27-13. And then you went to Pittsburgh and scored 10 points. And you were 3-7. So we've just seen it before with this team. Y'all, in the NFL, everyone knows the adage, any given Sunday. And it's true. These are all professional football players. And on any given Sunday, a professional football team can beat another professional football team. That's why, it's so rare when you see was the 08 Lions that went 0-16. You just don't see teams go winless because anybody can beat anybody on a given day. And that's true. Anyone can win a game in the NFL. But good teams win consistently in the NFL. And the Saints are not a good team. So just like whenever we kind of had that good feeling after they beat Seattle and lost twice in 5 days, and it was deflating. And then they beat the Raiders, and we're looking around going, look, mathematically it's crazy, but you're right there. You're a game out. And then you lose back-to-back games and look terrible doing it. And now you win at home against the Rams without Matt Stafford, without Cooper Kupp, and your offense looks pretty good, and you're thinking maybe this could be the start of something. Now you got to go on the road to San Fran, and then the next week you're in Tampa, who is playing for the division title in the playoffs. You're going to play 2 playoff teams in consecutive weeks on different coasts. And I'm here to tell you it's not going to go well for the Saints the next 2 weeks. It's the same pattern that happens when you're a bad football team. So enjoy the win. Understand that isn't a sign of really good things in the future. Because if you're wanting Andy Dalton benched last week, and today you're like, hey, stick with Andy Dalton. No, that's not how it works. Andy Dalton didn't drink from the fountain of youth yesterday. He had a nice day. And there are nice days. There are glimmers. It's a flash of what he once was in his career when he was a really good quarterback. But overall, he can't do that consistently, which is why he's not going to be a starter in the NFL anymore. And it's why it's still going to be more important for the Saints. Look, if you want to commit to Taysom, he got way more involved. Great. You want to go back to Jameis to figure out what you have there? Okay. But don't open yourself up emotionally thinking Andy Dalton all of a sudden is going to be a good quarterback again, because he's not. We did see a lot of Taysom Hill yesterday, which, where has that been? Obviously, he's your most versatile player. That's not even debatable. He is your most versatile player. The fact that it's taken this long to get him that involved is perplexing. And I think is a reflection of the coaching staff not utilizing the best weapon they have at that point. Dennis Allen said, this is number 5, after the game, it was structured. They intended to get Taysom that many touches.
No, the plan going in was to get Taysom involved. As a matter of fact, I think Andy got a little frustrated throughout the week that we had so many plays where Taysom was in at the quarterback position. But that's the great thing about our group. Our group just wants to win, and they'll do whatever they have to do to try to win. And that was something that we felt gave us a good chance this week, and our guys went out and executed it.
Yeah, first of all, I don't care if Andy Dalton's frustrated that Taysom got more touches, because Andy Dalton's not that good. So whatever the Saints can do to supplement this offense to help it win, it needs to do. And the fact that Taysom Hill hasn't been more involved is perplexing. Chris Olave had a great day. He's awesome. At this point, we all know that. That's not even debatable. He's third right now at DraftKings as far as odds for Rookie of the Year, and wouldn't surprise me one bit if he has a great finish to the season and wins Rookie of the Year. Kenneth Walker and Dameon Pierce right now have the best odds, and Chris Olave is third. But a question that we're going to have is, and this is a conversation the Saints organization can't necessarily have, but that we can certainly have. Understanding how great of a player Chris Olave is, it's worth asking the question, was it worth it, what you gave up to get him? Because ultimately what you gave up in the 2 trades was a 1, a 3, a 7, a 1, a 2, a 1, a 3, and a 4. I mean, there were 8 picks that you sent out to essentially get Chris Olave, Trevor Penning, and your 6th-round pick this year, which ended up being Jordan Jackson. 8 picks for those 3 players. And I don't know that I can tell you today that I feel like that was worth it. But Chris Olave is magnificent. But, boy, you gave up an awful lot to get him. Also, I'd be remiss if we didn't give a hat tip to Caden Ellis and Juwan Johnson. Caden Ellis is a guy who looked destined to be a backup / special teams guy, but in the opportunity he has gotten because of the injury to Pete Werner, he has played exceptionally well. Led the team in tackles on Sunday against the Rams. I believe it was 11. He had double-digit tackles in the game. Yeah, he had 11 tackles. Had 1.5 sacks, a tackle for loss, deflected a pass, had 2 quarterback hits. He has been all over the place, which is fantastic to see because, listen, at some point, Demario Davis isn't going to be Demario Davis anymore. And you could see a world where Pete Werner and Caden Ellis are your starting linebackers, and it doesn't look that you feel much more optimistic about that because of the way Ellis has played with the opportunity that he's gotten here. And then also Juwan Johnson. The Saints have been looking for tight end help, and Johnson was willing as an undrafted rookie free agent receiver out of Oregon to switch to tight end, to learn the position, and he's just continued to improve. 3 catches, 47 yards, had the touchdown yesterday. Troutman's a guy that they had a lot invested in, but it really just hasn't materialized in the pitch and catch game for Adam Troutman. Juwan Johnson has used his receiver skills and been a very valuable weapon, so that was also great to see. And the uniforms were phenomenal. So I move that the Saints make these throwbacks their permanent home uniforms, get the helmet color to match the old gold of the numerals in the pants, and now you're cooking with, what do they say, you're cooking with oil? Is that what they say whenever it's really hot? or cooking with gas. What do they say?
Gas, right?
Now
Yeah,
you're cooking with gas. I don't know. I don't cook. But anyway, whatever the saying is, now you're cooking with gas. There you go. It'd be fire. Color rush uniforms for the away games. These throwbacks, but match the helmet gold to the jersey and pant gold. And now you're cooking with gas. There it is. Nailed it. All right, Saints win 27-20 over the Rams. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bonnet, Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey, and Lafayette. Online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. Now that Christmas and November has passed, y'all, we're headed toward the holidays, and they always have great gift card specials where they'll match, double your gift card amount. We'll tell you much more about that as we get closer to the holidays and December when all those specials unlock. But just remember, you want to look and feel like your younger self. They can help. TheAntiAgingClinics.com. That's TheAntiAgingClinics.com. Okay, we're going to go around the SEC in just a tick. Really disappointing news about Hendon Hooker. If you haven't heard yet, we'll get you updated on that when we go around the SEC. And how about Vandy? Vandy's going to have to stroke a big check to the league office for their shenanigans, muted as they might have been. We'll get to all of that as we continue. We'll recap what to watch in about 15 minutes from right now. Ton to do. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pluckers Monday. All you can eat wings. Actually, matter of fact, we DoorDashed Pluckers yesterday during the Saints game. It's been a pretty fun little Sunday habit I've gotten into. Just order a few wings, have them delivered to the house, chow down on about 10 wings while the Saints play. You can do that as well. Or you can always get by Pluckers. Every Monday, remember, is all you can eat wings. So Monday Night Football tonight, we've got the World Cup going on, which I know a lot of people are interested in. Full slate of NBA games. Always great to get by Pluckers. Nicholson just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, sports on TV. Tonight and every Monday is all you can eat wings. So get to Pluckers. Pay one low price. Eat as many wings as you want all night long while you watch your favorite sports on TV. Monday Night Football tonight from Mexico. Niners and Cardinals. Need a place to watch? Get on by Pluckers, where it's all you can eat wings. Pluckers, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
As a community bank, B1 Bank invests in relationships with the people and businesses we proudly represent. Our B1 bankers are here to help simplify the complicated, understand your needs, and make managing your finances easier. At B1 Bank, we offer an array of solutions to help simplify your transaction needs. B1 Bank, one highly personal banking experience. Visit us online at b1bank.com for more information.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards. which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Congrats to Matt House. LSU defensive coordinator has been named a Broyles Award semifinalist. Of course, the Broyles Award goes annually to the best assistant in college football. Joe Brady won that award after the 2019 season, as we know. House, in his first season as LSU's defensive coordinator, has really done a fantastic job sort of getting the defense back to an elite level. And, man, the in-game adjustments he's made have just been sensational. As a matter of fact, Brian Kelly earlier today was asked about Matt House. I believe he was told during the press conference that House had been named a semifinalist. Here's what Kelly had to say.
He has a great feel for the game. He can make the kind of adjustments. Like, we came in at halftime and immediately, my first thing is, where's the tight end on that boot? Like, how was he getting out? How did we not see him? And he immediately drew up how he was delaying and coming underneath. And we were just losing our eyes because we thought it was a run. Just those little nuances, right? And being able to make those adjustments and seeing them in the box and just being one step ahead. So he does a really good job in-game analyzing what he needs to do to stay ahead of what the offensive coordinator's thinking.
So that was Brian Kelly post-game. He was also asked today about if he worried about losing Matt House after a year. And I don't Brian Kelly said he didn't, and I tend to agree with him. Look, Matt House is here for one reason. Matt House is here to become a head coach in college football. And a best path for him to become a head coach in college football was as LSU's defensive coordinator as opposed to being the linebackers coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. I've said that dozens of times on this show and every other platform. And it's not anything. We all understand that, right? You're looking to take the Dave Aranda route. But I would even remind you that Dave Aranda was at LSU for 4 seasons before he got that head coaching opportunity. And if Matt House was just so desperate to be a head coach, could he leave somewhere after the season and be a coach somewhere? Yes, likely. I believe that could happen. But I would point to Billy Napier as a great example, and albeit he was a head coach at a G5 school, but Billy Napier passed on at least 3 SEC jobs that we know about: Tennessee, Mississippi State, South Carolina, waiting for the right opportunity. And ultimately that came, and it was LSU and Florida, which were both open in the same year, and he landed Florida, which is a better job than all the ones that he passed on. So if you're Matt House, I think there's a similar situation that could unfold. You continue sort of tilling the soil and becoming better and better and better at your job and gain more notoriety, you're going to get a better opportunity. Kirby Smart went straight to Georgia from Alabama. Will Muschamp's first head coaching job was Florida, from his defensive coordinator post. So understand that in time, Matt House will get that opportunity. I don't think it'll be after year one, and quite honestly, I don't think he or his family are looking to move again after one season in Baton Rouge. But he's fantastic, and if you're LSU and you continue to hire good assistants, you're always going to lose good assistants to better opportunities. And I'll remind you that Brian Kelly at his time at Notre Dame had Bob Diaco, who became a head coach, and had Mike Elko, who they lost to A&M, who then became the head coach, who's now at Duke. Marcus Freeman, of course, became the head coach at Notre Dame, who succeeded Brian Kelly. So Brian Kelly's got a great resume of hiring very good assistant coaches who go on to better opportunities, but the good news is he's always been able to replace them with other good coaches because he's got a great eye for coaching talent. So congrats to Matt House, who's a Broyles semifinalist. Much-deserved honor. We'll see if he might become a finalist for that award. A lot of that may very well depend on how LSU does here in these next couple of weeks. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Brought to you by DraftKings, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Of course, you can make a $5 moneyline bet on any NBA game if you're a new customer. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make a $5 moneyline bet on any NBA game. If you hit, they'll give you $200 in free bets if they do. That's at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. Stepped up same-game parlays. Tell you about those all the time as well. You can boost your winnings up to 100%. Got to opt in. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge and start winning today. You got Monday Night Football tonight. You got the World Cup going on. You got NBA season in full swing, the NHL, college football. Maction returns tomorrow. You want to bet on it all and have some fun, you can do so with the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Be sure to use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. One boost per eligible game. Opt-in required. Parlay and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem. Call 1-877-7-0-STOP. All right, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Excellence in imaging solutions. The Tennessee Volunteers.
Well, there was injury to insult for the Vols on Saturday night. Of course, Tennessee, a blowout loss at South Carolina, ruining their magical season. And in the process, they lost their quarterback, Hendon Hooker, to a torn ACL. Tennessee made that announcement on Sunday that Hooker did, in fact, tear the ACL. He'll miss the remainder of the season. He's a 24-year-old senior. He was one of the Heisman favorites for much of this season. He's thrown for over 3,300 yards, 27 touchdowns, just 2 picks. With Hooker sidelined, Joe Milton will become the starting quarterback for Tennessee for the remainder of the season.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Mark Stoops has another contract extension with the Wildcats. Signed a new deal that'll give a big raise and increased buyout if he leaves. Stoops, under his new contract through June 2031, will have an annual salary of $8.6 million per year. That's up from $635. Stoops is 55 years old. He reportedly signed the contract extension on November the 11th, the day before their loss to Vanderbilt. Good timing. Wildcats are 6-5 overall, 3-5 in the SEC.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
I still need this sheet because, for once, I put them all on one sheet because many of you, not because of your criticism, quite honestly, just because our printer was acting up, as Musso can attest. Alabama cornerback Kyrie Jackson suspended by the team, according to Nick Saban. Saban did not reveal any more about the suspension, which came after he was not in uniform for the last 2 games against Ole Miss and Austin Peay. Jackson transferred in from East Mississippi Community College, became a starter late last season. With his absence, Alabama's turning to junior Jaquez Robinson along with several freshmen.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
And freshman running back James Joyner has entered the transfer portal, or will do so, on December the 5th when the portal opens. Joyner made the announcement via Twitter. Joyner is a Little Rock native, consensus 3-star prospect, but he's appeared in just 1 game this season for the Razorbacks, so he will seek a better opportunity elsewhere. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you always get at Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, the ULL Ragin' Cajuns. It's Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Every Friday, we tell you what we're watching for the football weekend, and we come back on Monday and tell you how it went. So we'll do that when we come back to wrap up hour number 1. Also, in about 17 minutes from right now to start hour 2, we will recap all of LSU's postseason bowl scenarios. So what is likely, what is possible, how will it transpire? We're going to get to all of that coming up to start hour 2. Again, just about 16 minutes from right now. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. And coming up, I should say, is the Poinsettia Open House over at Clegg's Nursery. That's right, y'all. It is time. We will be at Clegg's on Segan Friday, picking out the Moscona family Christmas tree. It's a Griswold family tradition. But we encourage you to go pick out your tree. They've got great Christmas decor up as well right now. But remember, the Poinsettia Open House is in the Greenwell Springs Road greenhouse. That is this coming Sunday from 10 to 2. You can take pictures with Santa. Your children can write a letter to Santa, and they'll mail it directly to the North Pole for you. You can see this year's new poinsettias, 35 different varieties on display, over 10,000 poinsettias in the greenhouse. It is spectacular to see. It's this coming Sunday at the Greenwell Springs Clegg's from 10 to 2. It's the Poinsettia Open House. Make a note. Be there this Sunday at Clegg's.
During the season of Thanksgiving, Corvell Toyota wants to take the time to thank you for your business. We could not be in business for over 50 years without you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you from Corvell Toyota in Opelousas.
Thank you.
Enter now for a chance to win a catch and cook fishing experience from the Louisiana Charter Boat Association with me, Chef Jay Ducote, winner of Beat Bobby Flay. Register now at gocatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit. We get it done with passion for our fans and love for our community. We are the Tigers. Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Glad to have you aboard with us here. By the way, shout out to the LSU men's basketball team. They did a number today on Illinois State. Yes, I get it. It was Illinois State. But LSU did go down to the Cayman. They beat Illinois State 77-61. So Matt McMahon's squad moves to 4-0 on the season. KJ Williams was the story. Had 33 points and 8 rebounds, by far a season high for KJ Williams. So LSU wins their debut down in the Caymans against Illinois State. And we will look for... I'm trying to see if the next game has already been determined. Forgive me. Whenever they played this morning, it was 10 a.m. Central Time when they played. And when the next opponent is determined, you'll hear that game on Eagle 98.1 as well, and affiliates of the LSU Sports Radio Network. So, yeah, it's they're going to play Akron. Okay, so it is set. They're going to play Akron tomorrow at 12:30 Central Time. So LSU against Akron tomorrow from the Cayman Islands Classic. All right, every Friday we tell you what to watch. We come back at Circle here on Monday to recap it. Hit it, Muse.
We watched
Now let's review.
All right. Well, I was pretty interested in Bedlam. Then the game started, and I wasn't very interested in it anymore.
No, you weren't really interested.
No, well, I thought it was an interesting spot, though, because it was a larger line than I anticipated, and it turned out to be correct.
So you were not interested in Bedlam. You were interested in the spread.
Yes. Which is part of Bedlam. It's part of Bedlam, Matt. I mean, the spread is significant to the game. More significant to some than others.
Bedlam was not significant in any way.
It was a very boring football game that Oklahoma won 28-13.
And the angle holds, man.
Yeah,
the
how about that?
Unranked team favored over the ranked team. Unranked Oklahoma. Never trailed. Did work on Oklahoma
28-3 at one point.
Crazy. Mike Gundy stinks in that.
See, interesting.
He stinks.
He won last year.
It's not interesting at all. Did you watch any of it?
No, it was opposite LSU.
Right, exactly. Not interesting. And it wasn't opposite LSU. You could have watched a full hour of that game.
I had on South Carolina and Tennessee.
You could have watched an hour and a half of that game.
Had on South Carolina and Tennessee, but
an unranked team, an unranked South Carolina team. Against neither team going to a conference championship. Yeah. Bedlam wasn't interesting. Paulie.
I did watch TCU Baylor.
Yeah, I did too.
It was at 11 a.m.
God, that was really good, wasn't it?
That was
really the end of that game was pretty wild.
That was terrible.
So TCU scored with 2 minutes left, but they were down 2. They missed a 2-point conversion.
Yep.
They kick the ball, 3 and out, get the ball back. They basically go up until about 16 seconds left. Run the field goal unit out, kick the game-winning field goal. TCU remains undefeated.
It was Milesian the way TCU handled the end of that. No timeouts. They ran the ball with no timeouts. So had to run the kicker on and just very hurriedly kick the game-winning field goal, which he did. So good for him. But LSU needed that. LSU needed Baylor to come through. They gagged it away. I was watching the Patriots and the Jets. We talked about the Jets, who were right there in the division lead, and Bill Belichick did to a young quarterback what Bill Belichick tends to do to a young quarterback, which was confuse and harass him. The Jets barely had 100 yards of offense, but it was 3-3, and the Patriots won on a game-winning kickoff return for a touchdown. It's so wild. Anyway, Patriots beat the Jets 10-3.
Out west, was watching Oregon and Utah. Teams trying to get a spot in the Pac-12 championship. Ultimately, Oregon did that. But, man, was Bo Nix going to play? Was Bo Nix not going to play? You had the line movement. Ultimately, Bo Nix played, and Utah continues to be pretty bad on the road.
As a guy who had Utah in that game, I'm not happy that Bo Nix played.
Me too. Thought about hedging, and then I was like, yeah.
I watched the Browns and the Bills from Detroit, where there was no snow. It was a slow day for the Bills offense.
Did you watch the game?
A little bit of it, not the whole thing. It was basically the Buffalo Bills kicker scored most of the points. It was 6 for 6 on field goals with a long 56. Buffalo wins, but they will be back in Detroit for Thanksgiving Day game against the Lions.
Let's keep an eye on Jeff Saturday's home debut against the Colts, and man, they had it too.
Almost.
They had it. Against the Eagles. Remember the stat we gave about the Eagles? It's like 80% of teams that have started 8-0 or better after they lose their first game, they lose another game behind it. So Eagles were in a tight spot there, but Jalen Hurts with the draw late in the game to give the Eagles the 17-16 win, handing Jeff Saturday's first loss as a head coach.
And the last thing I was watching, Cowboys and Vikings. Interesting. This was another one where it was like, kind of a screwy line, right? Minnesota, the big win. They come home now as a home underdog after Dallas had just blown a 14-point lead. Is it one of those situations where Vegas knows something?
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they did. 40-3, Dallas.
So
rocking chair never in doubt for the Cowboys.
I always tell y'all, listen to Jimmy Ott's Football Sunday show. 4 of the professional handicappers had Dallas in that game. I hammered Dallas yesterday. Paulie, go.
Chiefs Chargers, Sunday Night Football. This was the Mahomes and Travis Kelce show. Kelce scored 3 touchdowns, scored 1 early in the 4th. The Chargers came back, took the lead back, and then Mahomes and Kelce do what they do to end every game.
I had the under in that game, which the under lost on the Kelce touchdown.
Yes, it did.
Terrible way to lose. And finally, I was keeping an eye on if Iowa could clinch the Big Ten West. Iowa did their part, but they also needed a Purdue loss. Purdue won. So the Big Ten West comes down to this weekend. It's notable because That's the team that's going to face the Michigan-Ohio State winner in the Big Ten championship game. Iowa clinches with either a win or a Purdue loss. So Iowa is at Nebraska at home against Nebraska on Friday. Purdue is at Indiana, although they're a 10.5-point road favorite. So Iowa really needs to beat Nebraska at home on Friday to clinch the West. All right, that's what to watch. That's what we were watching on this football weekend. Hope you enjoyed your football weekend. We're going to knock out a break, get caught up on national headlines from SportsCenter. When we come back, we all know that LSU did, in fact, win. However, the Tigers were leapfrogged by USC in both the AP and coaches polls. So LSU held steady at 6, but Tennessee's loss opened up a spot at 5, and Southern Cal leapfrogged LSU. So what does that mean about LSU's postseason? We're going to go through the scenarios when we come back for Hour 2, right after SportsCenter. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. Do want to take a quick second and shout out Michelli, who has been a great sponsor of Whiskey and Wine all throughout this season. We're just very grateful for their support. And listen, they're a local company. They're a great local business that's been around for 75 years, celebrating here in 2022, 75 years in business. Now, listen, I tell you all the time, of course, you weigh or measure something. They sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure, but they're also hiring. Go to the website, hit the careers tab there at the top, and you'll see the Apply Now a button right there in the middle of the page. They're always looking for technicians. So you can go look at the careers page on the website, and Michelle, even at 75 years old, is still growing and needs people. So if you're looking for a job or looking for a new career, Michelli Weighing and Measurement, a great local company that's been around and stable for 75 years. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Learn more at Michelli.com online. That's Michelli.com.
I'm Sylvia Weatherspoon. Chris Nakamoto is just getting back from court where a grand jury's indicted the Plaquemine police chief. Chris was first to report this was coming just a few weeks ago. WBRZ reported Chief Kenny Payne's accused of asking a woman for sexual favors in exchange for having her boyfriend's charges dropped. Payne faces 5 felonies and is also accused of using his position of power for personal gain. You can see Chris's in-depth report on the 6 o'clock news.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Kevin Winter. All 11 starters for the United States men's soccer team were making their World Cup debuts today. That's the lineup that Greg Berhalter rolled out for match number 1 of the 2022 FIFA World Cup for the United States. And in the first half, it paid off. Brilliant play and a Timothy Weah goal in the 36th minute. The United States led 1-0 at the half. But in the second half, Wales took it to the Americans. Walker Zimmerman called for a foul against Gareth Bale inside the box in the 82nd minute. Penalty kick, and Bale smoked it into the net. U.S. and Wales played to a 1-1 draw. ESPN soccer analyst Taylor Twellman moments ago on Canty and Carlin on the difference in the two halves.
The problem is, under Greg Berhalter throughout his entire tenure, is there's been a propensity to not make the necessary changes when the other team does so.
And that's what happened in the second half. So how do we feel about this, Teddy KGB?
So unsatisfied.
Yes, we do. U.S. gets the point, but they blow a chance at 3. Now the United States will take on group leader England on Friday. The English beat Iran 6-2. Commanders are set to activate Chase Young off of IR.
Coming up Tuesday, are we sure the Eagles are still the best team in the NFC? And how dangerous are the Cowboys? Keyshawn J. with the Max, Tuesday, 6 a.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Cole Cubelic in 15 minutes from right now. We'll recap the weekend in the SEC, including how in the world did South Carolina pull off the upset that they did of Tennessee at Williams-Brice Stadium. I have a theory that in Tennessee, if you didn't watch any of that game, Tennessee wore orange helmets. And for years here in Baton Rouge, the gaudy association is the purple pants. LSU wore purple pants in one game. It was Jared DiNardo's first season. They played in Lexington against Kentucky, who was very bad at the time. Melvin Hill started for an injured Herb Tyler, and LSU lost to Kentucky, and they never wore the purple pants again. And I would submit to you that for Tennessee, the orange helmet is likely going to be akin to LSU's purple pants, because the orange helmet for Tennessee will forever now be associated with getting blown out by an unranked South Carolina team when you were ranked 5th in the country and staring down a very possible college football playoff appearance, and your quarterback, Hendon Hooker, still very much in the mix for the Heisman Trophy, and you get blown out in that football game and lose Hendon Hooker to a torn ACL. Now, for South Carolina, they won the game. Their team their fans stormed the field afterwards as well. And the storming the field cost South Carolina $100,000. Oddly enough, Vanderbilt storming the field cost the Commodores only $100,000 because Vandy has it's not just for football. The SEC's storming the access to field policy, it's all sports. So Vandy has stormed the court several times in basketball. So this was their third offense, which cost them $250,000. South Carolina, this was their first offense in almost a decade, so it cost them just $100,000 storming the field. But anyway, and the real sad part about Vanderbilt, too, storming the field, is it wasn't so much as it wasn't so much of Vandy storming the field as it was the few students in attendance very politely walking onto the field through the gate, being assisted by those field game day workers. It was actually quite pathetic to watch it all transpire. Yes,
single file line too. You saw that? Single file line.
Well, to get out of the stands, it was almost, I think, necessitated because they were all coming through the gate.
Yeah,
right onto the field. So I think it was sort of necessitated because I don't think many people could fit through that at one point.
Most respectful field storming of all time.
But have you been to Vanderbilt Stadium?
No.
The stands are high. Like, you can't jump. It's not like in Tiger Stadium where there's just a little chain link fence. There's a little bit of a drop off there, so it's kind of dangerous should you jump from in the stands. So I think that's why they had to kind of make their way to the gate and process in. But still, I mean, I would say there might have been 1,000 people on the field, maybe, at the end of the Vandy storm.
Might be generous. That might be generous.
I think sometimes we lose sight of count of people because of how big a field is.
That's fair.
So, here's a photo of the Vanderbilt field storming. I realize that if you're listening, you can't see this photo, but for perspective, let's cut the field in half and move into a quadrant, right? So, nearest the student section, and you can see, I'll zoom in for those who are watching. That's the single file line right here that moves. So see, they're coming.
It's so good.
Look, they're coming down steps.
Yeah, I know.
You have to come down the steps because look to the right side of this, how elevated this is where the student section is.
That would hurt.
That's a good 15-foot drop, right? So you have to come down the ramp and then down. You see this part is the student section here, right? So they come down the ramp and then down the steps onto the field is how they're doing it. Because this is just a big drop. I'm not jumping that. Would you?
No, I'm good. I don't need that. Yeah.
Fair enough. That's at least 15 feet.
It's up there. Yeah, that's fair. I'd say 15 is a good estimate.
I don't think that you want to fall 15 feet.
You could break an ankle.
Not to storm the field at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
But congrats to them for beating Florida.
Yeah.
First time they beat Florida at home since 1988.
More people on the field after the game at Vanderbilt or in Kyle Field for UMass?
On the field at Vanderbilt.
That's what it looked like, honestly.
Wow. The Maggies. We got all week to talk about them. How atrocious was that?
Texas A&M!
Woo! I mean, you want to talk about the combo of awful team, awful opponent, awful conditions. I mean, there were probably more people at games during the COVID year. If you were at 25% capacity of Kyle Field, you'd still be talking about roughly 20 to 25,000 people. There were not 25,000 people in that stadium. I mean, it was
barren.
Yes.
I was going to say sparse, but I'm like, that doesn't do it justice. Nope. It needs to be a stronger.
Yes.
Yeah, barren.
The only way to make it stronger would be to put an expletive in front of it. But let's not do that since this is radio and also television, by the way. A shout out to our friends at WBTR Channel 19 in Baton Rouge. That's our news partners, WBRZ. So you can now watch us on TV again in Baton Rouge, WBTR. That's Cable 19 on Cox. That's Rev 144. Or if you're a cord cutter, 36.1 on the antenna. All right, let's go over LSU's postseason projections here. A lot of the bowl projections start to come out as the week moves along, but ESPN always does theirs on Monday. And for what it's worth, they've got LSU playing New Year's Eve in New Orleans in the Sugar Bowl against Kansas State. Just to reset very quickly how this works. The SEC's bowl tie-ins start with after the playoff committee selects their 4 teams. So if the playoff committee selects their 4, the highest ranked non-playoff team from the SEC goes to the Sugar Bowl. The reason Tennessee's loss was so significant for LSU is, one, it eliminated a playoff contender. Because, look, if you're LSU, and I maintain you're going to need help to get into the playoff. I don't think just beating A&M and Georgia is going to be enough because I think you're going to have multiple one-loss conference championships. I know a lot of you are screaming right now, it's the SEC champ. They know there's no way they leave the SEC champ out. I'm here to tell you that an SEC team is going to get in Georgia either way, but they may leave out a 2-loss LSU because the committee is going to find the path of least resistance. And that may be just going with one-loss conference champions. or undefeated or one-loss conference champions. That may be the cleanest way to do it. And as evidence, Southern Cal leaped LSU in both the AP and coaches polls this week. Now, those don't factor into the committee's decision, but that's a human element of people that chose a one-loss SC whose only loss is on the road against Utah in a situation where Utah went for 2 and won the game and all that sort of stuff, as opposed to LSU, who has a bad loss to Florida State and a blowout loss at home to Tennessee. I'm telling you, that's a possibility. LSU could beat Georgia and not get in, which is why they need help, in my opinion. But Tennessee's loss is big because it eliminated one playoff contender, and it also undeniably is going to drop Tennessee below LSU. And I believe even if LSU were to lose to Georgia, they'd still be ranked ahead of Tennessee. So, should LSU beat Georgia, the best case scenario is they get into the playoff. The worst case scenario there is you go to the Sugar Bowl. If you lose to Georgia and you're the highest ranked SEC team not in the playoff, you go to the Sugar Bowl. There's another scenario that could unfold where LSU loses to Georgia and possibly falls below Alabama in the college football playoff committee rankings. Bama could theoretically rank ahead of LSU. If they do, 2-loss Bama ahead of 3-loss LSU, Bama would go to the Sugar Bowl, but the great news for LSU is they would go to the Orange Bowl. The Orange Bowl sets up ACC against either Big Ten, SEC, or Notre Dame. Well, Notre Dame is not going to be in the mix. They're 8-3 right now, and if they lose to SC, then they're at 8-4. They're not a challenger. As far as the Big Ten, you've got 2 teams right now that are in the mix. You've got Michigan and Ohio State. The winner of that game is going to go to the playoff. The loser of that game is going to go to the Rose Bowl. There's no other Big Ten team in consideration except for maybe Penn State, but it's unlikely that LSU would drop below Penn State in the rankings. So you'd have ACC against, very likely, Alabama or LSU. Those are the 2 teams we're talking about at this point. If Georgia's in the playoff, Bama, LSU, Bama, however it goes, are likely going to fill Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl. The higher ranked of the 2, Sugar Bowl. The lower ranked of the 2, Orange Bowl. That's very likely how it'll play out. And if you judge by these projections from ESPN, projecting LSU to play Kansas State in the Sugar Bowl, they're suggesting that LSU is going to lose to Georgia but still be ranked higher than Alabama. And if that's the case, then LSU would go to the Sugar Bowl. Either way, Tennessee's loss effectively removes the possibility of LSU ending up in the Citrus Bowl, which the scenario could have unfolded that Georgia beats LSU, is in the playoff. Tennessee doesn't make the playoff, goes to the Sugar Bowl. And then the highest ranked remaining SEC team goes to the Orange Bowl. And if LSU had 3 losses had fallen below Bama, that means Bama would have gone orange and LSU would go citrus. So to make it as simple as possible, best case scenario for LSU, beat Georgia, go to the playoff. Worst case scenario for LSU, lose to Georgia, fall below Bama, end up in the Orange Bowl. So it looks like you're talking playoff, sugar, orange. Those are really the only 3 scenarios that make sense for LSU right now. So Tigers are going to be rewarded, provided they beat Texas A&M. Now, if you lose to Texas A&M, then all bets are off, and you could end up in a less than desirable situation. But go beat Texas A&M this weekend, and you're going to assure yourself of one of those 3 outcomes. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break. Cole Cubelic will join us next on AFR.
AFR.
Hey, y'all, this Thursday is Thanksgiving. By now, you know that. If you are dreading cooking, if you want to sort of relax on Thanksgiving, let Rouse's take care of all of it for you. They always say, leave the fuss to us. They've got holiday dinners available at Rouse's where they can handle everything. It just becomes heat and eat. Turkey, Rouse's can handle it. You want ham, Rouse's can handle it. All of the sides, traditional sides, and everything that comes with holiday dinners, they've got it at Rouse's. Heat and eat. The traditional dinner, the center plates like we talked about, sides like cornbread dressing, green bean casserole, dirty rice dressing, mac and cheese, oyster Bienville, shrimp mirliton dressing. They've got it all at Rouse's. Heat and eat. Go to Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Let Rouse's do the cooking this Thanksgiving. Rouse's.com for Rouse's, where this feels like home.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Look, they don't have the wins that they wanted, but all they need is one, and that's to beat LSU. So we'll have to prepare very well and perform well on Saturday against this football team.
Brian Kelly on Monday. Previewing the LSU trip to College Station to take on Texas A&M. There is one sort of weird quirk this week with it being the holiday, and Brian Kelly was asked about kind of what they'll do this week. Can you play that one real quick, Muse? Cole Cubelic's coming up here in just a minute. We have just a second before he dials us in. So this is how Brian Kelly said they're going to handle Thanksgiving.
Well, I think the same, challenges on the road, are there for you. Thursday we handle a little bit different. We'll practice in the morning, but we'll have Thanksgiving dinner together. We'll bring the coaches' families in. The players will be with us and share Thanksgiving together. We'll release all of the non-travel players after practice in the morning so they can be with their families. And then really from there it just becomes a normal Friday for us, where we'll have meetings at noon and then, board the plane around 3, 4 o'clock and get into College Station around 6 o'clock. So then it just becomes business as usual.
So the only thing that changes is they'll practice early on Thanksgiving and have Thanksgiving meal with the whole family. So, it was with the whole team, I should say. The game in College Station with UMass on Saturday was just a dreadful sight. If you haven't seen a lot of the video, even the student section, which, at A&M, they pride themselves on the students standing the entire game, even halftime when the band is playing. It's one of their traditions. If you're watching, this is a video from Twitter of the student section, and it was, to say it was sparse is kind. I mean, they're I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in this entire section. It was just a dreadful sight. I mean, their morale could not be lower in College Station right now. So maybe LSU's got the perfect time to try to go over there and finish off a 10-win season. All right, let's talk to Cole.
He enjoys victory cigars and pancake blocks. It's time to preview this week in the SEC with Cole Cubelic, presented by Roosters Men's Grooming.
Cole, we appreciate it as always, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, Matt. How about yourself?
I'm doing awesome. Excited about Thanksgiving week. A lot on the line this weekend as well. Hey, I did want to ask, just to start, South Carolina, not just that they beat Tennessee, but how they beat Tennessee was just incredible. Cole, how did they do it?
They had a great game plan offensively. I thought Coach Satterfield really did a nice job of moving different players around. You saw a little bit more Jaheim Bell. They finally got him going at tailback. And then, because you didn't have Marshawn Lloyd, which if you'd have told me this happens without him, there's no way I would have believed it. It'd been tough enough to believe anyway. And then you saw Juice Wells moved around a little bit. They had some more motions. They did more east and west, some more side to side. And I just think that Spencer Rattler got hot. They found some ways to get some one-on-ones down the field. Juice Wells and some of the other receivers were able to make some plays. And defensively is probably where, you really need to give a lot of credit to. Tonka Hemingway and that defensive line did not allow the run game to get going. It's one of the weird things about Tennessee that nobody talks about is that offense doesn't go if they don't run the ball, Matt, because they don't hit their tempo until they get the first down of a drive. And then that's usually a run play to follow that. And that's just part of what has to happen. So much is based off RPOs and play actions. They need the run game to get going, and it never even got close to going for Tennessee in that game against South Carolina. And I think that makes it a lot easier to defend in different ways. Also, think about this. Tennessee has not been in a bad spot early in a game this year. All the big games that they've won, obviously the Georgia game, not so much, but look at the LSU game. I mean, we dropped opening kickoff. Yeah. And, just Tennessee right out of the gate, they're looking good. Alabama, boom, 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 moving down the field, looking good right away. So they also, mentally, emotionally haven't really been in that spot very often. And now you're doing it on the road. It's just kind of a tough place to be in. And I think the defensive line won. And that's a good Tennessee offensive line. Javonte Sprague is just frustrated. He's bear hugging guys, tackling them to the ground. And they didn't get the run game going the way that they usually do. And I just think that was ultimately the difference. But, Carolina defenders made plays on the ball. They tackled well in the open field. That has to happen if you're going to beat Tennessee. And I thought second and third level, that defense tackled well as also.
I would have seen at Williams-Brice Stadium. Last week when you and I talked, I did ask you about if Kentucky could make a run at Georgia. I don't think many people thought that it would go the way that it did. But Kentucky, very much limited Georgia. My question, though, Cole, was that more about something Kentucky did? Because, look, LSU fans are very interested if a team's going to limit Georgia, right? Was that more what Kentucky did, or was that self-inflicted by Georgia?
I don't even think it was self-inflicted, really. I think this was a very low-risk game plan on both sides of the ball for the Georgia Bulldogs. And I'll say it's probably one thing that they needed, Matt, because Stetson Bennett has been playing some high-risk football the last couple of games. I mean, you go watch that Florida game, I saw at least 3 balls that easily could have been intercepted. You go watch him last week, he had a couple of more that could have been intercepted. He's been getting away with a lot as the Georgia quarterback. Now, he still makes plays and completes passes and breaks you down with his legs. Not saying that he doesn't help a lot of ways also, but he's gotten away with a lot of throws that should have gone the other way this year. And maybe they just wanted to calm him down a little bit and kind of say, hey, listen, we don't need all the extra stuff. Let's just run the offense. And I think they wanted to prove that they could run the football. And once they found out that the defense had a good enough plan in place to slow down Will Levis and stymie Chris Rodriguez, they probably didn't think they had to do a whole lot else. I think Kirby's pretty good about sometimes going on the road, just saying, hey, let's get the win and get out of here. We don't need to score 60 points. And I just felt like that was more of Georgia in a very low-risk game plan on both sides of the ball than it was Kentucky really being very problematic.
Does Florida have real, legitimate, future issues? program issues?
No, it depends on how Billy recruits, and I think he will recruit well. They don't have everything they need right now to be what they want to be. First position would be tight end. I think second position would be, defensive line and linebacker. They want to play a certain style of football, and they're not really able to play that right now. And I think anytime you have coaching turnover, there's a chance that you're going to have just a rough locker room and one that's tough for guys to get on board with. Now, we're not seeing that in Baton Rouge right now, but some of that comes down to just the individuals you have on your team. Do you have the amount of vocal leaders? Do you have the guys that want to buy in, that want to figure out any way possible to go win games? I don't know if that's the only issue in Florida right now, but you still have a quarterback that's young as far as tenure of actually playing the amount of football that he has. You're going to get a few mistakes. You're not going to be as balanced as you want to be because you have to do more through him because he's the most talented player on your team. I don't look at it as long-term and say, all right, this thing's not going to work, or Florida's just got inherent problems they can't get past. They just need better personnel in certain spots to run exactly what they want to run, and they need more buy-in from their players.
Cole, flip it over. Has Vanderbilt under Clark Lee turned the corner? I'm not saying to compete for the East or anything. I just mean getting to a point where they can be a perennial bowl team that's going to win some conference games every year?
I think they're getting close because one thing, if you read my takeaways every week,
I do.
I've been saying this about Vanderbilt for the last 5 or 6 weeks, maybe every week I've said this, that the effort has still been there. Every week, the linebackers fly around, the defensive line has good fight, the O-line at least comes off the ball and tries to move people. Like, they have not lost their grit and their determination all year. Are they talented, super talented? No, not really. Are they undersized? Yeah. So they've had to switch quarterbacks a couple of times, and then now they're back to Mike Wright. He comes in and has a nice game, does some good things. But I think now you just mix a little bit of good football with that effort that we've been talking about, and you find some quality matchups with a team like Florida that's, you made them a little bit one-dimensional. I mean, Florida, they ran into a wall in the run game right there about halfway through the first quarter, and it just wasn't there. And that's what you have to make teams do. And so I think they're getting close to that. I think we'll find out a lot this weekend because this is a game that they can be competitive in because they can find some creative ways to move the football. And now, I don't think teams will respect the deep ball as much as they have been against Tennessee with Joe Milton. He's just not as accurate down the field. So if you want to dedicate more bodies to the tackle box to try to remove the rushing attack, you'll be able to do that. And that might make Tennessee very different.
Game is in Nashville, Tennessee at Vanderbilt. It is rivalry weekend. Cole Cubelic's with us, SEC Network. He's on Twitter at Cole Cubelic with us every single Monday here talking about the SEC. Courtesy of friends over at Roosters Men's Grooming Center, roostersmgc.com. Cole, we look ahead to this weekend. Is there a game that you look? There's always the Iron Bowl, obviously. It's rivalry weekend, the Egg Bowl. Is there a game that you look at and go, hey, that could be sneaky good for this reason? Like, look out for that one.
I would say probably Arkansas, Missouri has a chance to be really good. Sam Pittman's kids are just bought in. Like, everything that we said that Florida needs and is looking for and wants to find, like, Arkansas has that. Now, that doesn't mean that they have zero turds in their facility. Every team's got some. Right. It's going to happen. They got some headaches, but mostly, talking to Rocket Sanders after the game and talking to Bumper Pool before the game, like, they just have guys that love football, they love each other, that want to win for each other. And you could say, oh, they're 6-5. We'll go look at the schedule and then look at some of the injuries and then look at the actual personnel. It's 6-5 is actually not bad for what they've gone up against this year. And Drink's kind of find him a little bit. His D-line's played their rear ends off all season. He's got some skill guys that can make plays. Super inconsistent at quarterback. But if Brady Cook can come out there and go, 23 of 28 and not turn it over and add 60, 70 yards on the ground, Missouri can push Arkansas. They get it at home. And, this is a trophy game. It's a rivalry game for these teams. Arkansas already got bowl eligibility. So that's a big relief from them Saturday night. Now Missouri's going to be fighting, scratching, calling for that themselves. Yeah. And it's important. It's one thing that I talk about in college football. Like, we've got to start celebrating things other than getting to the playoffs. Like, we had Pitt win the ACC last year. Nobody hardly even talked about it. We talked about their receiver leaving. to go to another school more than we did them actually winning the ACC. Like, you look at what Billy did at, there in Lafayette the last couple of years. I think, what do you have, like a 12-game winning streak, longest in school history? Like, nobody talks about that. Like Kane Womack at South Alabama right now. He's got 9 wins. That program had never won 7 in its history. And, like, you'll never hear about that. So we've got to start celebrating some of these other things. And I think that includes bowl games. I think senior day is still a big deal for a lot of people, even though we don't want to talk about it. But that's what makes college football beautiful, man. There's a lot of things about it that are special.
Hey, Cole, before you go, LSU, any trouble in College Station Saturday?
I personally don't think so. And I think one of the coolest things that I've seen with LSU is just so much growth, mainly at the quarterback position. And people know that. But what they don't know is kind of probably how they got to this spot. And going back, and I was watching the film against UAB, and I saw Jaden completing hitting some passes in some really tight coverage. There's some smaller windows. And I remember back to a conversation we had with Brian Kelly getting ready for the Southern game. And we were talking to him. Keep in mind, it's the first time I've ever met him. I'd never been around him before. So I didn't know if he was going to come in and be like this super hard ass, or his face was going to be all red, or is he going to come in and be nice? Like, I had no idea what to expect from this guy. And he comes in and lays his notepad down. How you guys doing? This, that, whatever. Oh, yeah, where are you from? I was like, all right, seems pretty cool. And we get talking. He says, man, Jaden's been really good, this and that. And he goes, yeah, I kind of wishing he'd throw an interception, though. Like, we need one of those. And I looked over at Tom, and I'm like, what in the hell is happening? And he goes, well, no, I'll tell you guys. He's like, so I think that when a quarterback is playing like he's playing, doesn't have an interception, you start thinking about not throwing an interception, and you become more risk adherent. And so I want a guy to be more risk averted, and I want him to take some chances, because you get explosive plays and you get big plays, and great things happen, not good things happen, when you take the right risks. And I want him to be okay doing that and being comfortable doing that. And I'm watching that film. I'm sitting in the same office I'm sitting in now yesterday, like, here it is. This is exactly what he was talking about. Like, he knows he can do it. He's got the arm to do it, but, like, just go pull the trigger, man. Let that thing fly. Just let it rip. And now he's doing it, and he's completing some highly difficult passes, and that offense is just rolling. So I think they have so much balance offensively right now with how they can spread the field, the run after the catch stuff, which UAB did a good job slowing down. They tackled pretty well. Then you add quarterback run, which they did not do a very good job against. And then you add the downhill rushing attack, which, 66 and 75 are really coming off the ball. They're moving people now, and you got multiple backs that can just get north and south. Like, they're a handful on offense. And that defense, which is out of position often, I've been saying it for weeks. We tried to show you in the South Carolina game how, yeah, they're talented. They make plays. They fly around, but they're also not where they're supposed to be a bunch of times. And I think Mike Denbrock will take full advantage of that, make life pretty easy. They'll steal a ton of yards in this game. And I mean, you tell me how A&M is going to move the ball. I don't know.
They're just not very good, man. I mean, they got some talent, but they're just not a very good football team at its most basic level.
Well, if they get A-Chain back, maybe. Like, I think he's that good, that explosive. But if you're getting 80% A-Chain, I don't know if that's that much of a difference. So, Evan Stewart can make some plays. Moose can make some plays. They'll get a couple catches each. But that secondary tackles really well. You got a guy that you can line up anywhere that's going to probably make some plays. The D-line's playing great. That offensive line for A&M is not playing great, by the way. Like, that's your matchup that A&M has to win, and I don't see any way that they win it consistently.
Man, it'd be incredible. LSU polishes it off, 10-2, and they're playing Georgia very likely.
10 wins, man.
10.
That would be unbelievable.
10.
I remember a guy at the beginning of the season at Media Days that was saying LSU had the third most talented team roster in the league. And there were some other folks that were like, that guy's crazy, man. No way.
Was that Tony Barnhart?
I remember other people saying, no, it's definitely A&M that has the third most talented roster in the league.
Man, look, the thing that we've talked about a bunch here, Cole, looking back at Media Days, is, so wait, did you say that LSU had the third best roster?
Third most talented roster, yes.
Man, it's the thing that we talked about so much that during that week was how there was really no consensus, right? There was no consensus who was next in each division after Georgia and Alabama. And I had LSU 8-4. I thought they'd be 4-4 in the league, and that was better than most people thought they'd be. But I certainly didn't see this, man. I didn't see 10-2, the possibility of 10-2 and being in a playoff conversation. It's pretty
I
incredible.
thought we would have a log jam of like 7 and 8 win teams in the
agree.
West.
I agree.
Like, 2 through, maybe 5 or 6, we're all going to be like 6 wins, 8 wins, 7 wins, and they just all kind of beat each other up. Yeah. But like you said, we have clear separation now with what LSU and Tennessee have done this year. It's been kind of wild.
It's incredible. It's always fun, man. Have a great Thanksgiving. Look forward to talking to you next week, man, before the SC Championship game.
You guys eat stuffing or dressing in Louisiana?
I don't do either. What do y'all do?
Okay, I feel bad for you, but
see,
I grew up doing stuffing because my dad's family's from Pittsburgh and my mom's family was from Wisconsin. How we got to the South, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But now I go to Decatur and I eat my in-laws. My mother-in-law, she cooks dressing, but she actually calls it stuffing for me. So I'm okay with it. They're both great, by the way. I'll eat a bunch of both, but yeah.
So
where we are now.
Here's what you don't know is that in Louisiana, you don't see a lot. Maybe this is just my family. A lot of like the traditional Thanksgiving meals. Like we have like shrimp mirliton. We have oyster dressing. We have bro. We're talking fried turkey. We're talking eggplant bundles. I mean, we're not talking.
Well, let's not get too far away. I live in Alabama, so it's not we
I get it.
Here,
but
we'll do it on our wooden back porch too.
I get it. But can't we all agree that Louisiana, and it's in particular the southern part of Louisiana, is culturally different than the rest of the South?
Maybe the rest of the world.
Yes. Okay. So the point is, like, even though we're all here in the South, don't tell me you feel bad for me because I don't know that there's a human being walking the face of planet Earth that's going to have a better Thanksgiving dinner on Thursday than me and my family. Like,
all right, I need to see. You can text it. I'd rather you tweet it. I need to see like your spread.
Okay,
I need to because I'm like a couple of the things that you threw out a minute ago. Like, I feel like there's a fancy restaurant in Birmingham my wife went to a couple of times, and I was like, "What is crème de bleu?" And the guy looks at me and goes, he's like, "Cheese," and I was like, "Cool, we're never coming back, and you're not getting a tip, so screw you." Like, sorry, I've never heard of that word. Give me the burger and fries.
All right, I will send. I promise pictures incoming on Thursday.
Love it.
He is Cole Cubelic. Happy Thanksgiving, man. We'll talk next week.
Happy Thanksgiving, Matt. Thank you.
All right, dude. We'll see you. It's AFR.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it, They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance with the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Saints win on Sunday. They beat the Rams 27-20. One of the big questions that's obviously going to come out of this is, has Andy Dalton sort of solidified the job? We're going to talk to Maddy Hudak in about 30 minutes from right now. So she'll watch the game film, let us know what she saw, what was different, what was good, after sort of a film review. You know, the Saints get the win, and Dalton played very well. I mean, he was efficient. There's no denying that. My contention is and will be that that's a glimmer, not a glow. That's a glimmer of a moment instead of like the steady glow of consistency, which Andy Dalton isn't going to be anymore in his career. He's a guy that on a given Sunday can play well in a certain matchup like he did against the Rams. He was 21 of 25 for 260 and 3 touchdowns. For me, the more encouraging thing from the game was the fact that they got Taysom Hill more involved. Taysom Hill led your team in rushing. He had 9 carries for 52 yards. He led your team in rushing. They were much more intentional about getting Taysom Hill involved. Look, Dennis Allen after the game talked about the two of them rotating in the game on Sunday.
Each week we go in and try to figure out what's the best way that we can move the ball and be effective and score points. And I felt like we had a good plan for both Andy and Taysom at the quarterback position. And I thought Pete called a good game. I thought those guys went out there and executed the plan. So it's always good when it works, right? I mean, everybody. But I thought the offense did a really good job.
I completely understand what Dennis Allen's saying, and I think he is being truthful. You go into a given week looking at the matchup and saying, okay, what do we have that we feel like our pieces can do well against them? But sometimes it doesn't matter what they do. You should dictate terms. That's true in any sport. But in particular football, when you're just one game a week and you're trying to determine a game plan, unless if you are physically inferior and have to, like, you see that like at the major college level, for example, LSU against UAB. UAB is physically inferior. They were going to have to scheme something dramatically to give themselves an advantage. In the NFL, like if you have a player who is going to win, who is just better than the other team, like you've got to use him. So I can't fathom when you have Taysom Hill, who's so dynamic, who presents such a different challenge for defenses, having to respect the fact that he can take a snap out of the single wing and run it, or run an option, or throw it. And there's all these things you have to defend that he can do exceptionally well. So it's not like with Deebo Samuel. If you want to put Deebo Samuel in the single wing, you know he's running the ball. Like, he's not going to set back and throw it 10 times in a game. The Saints could throw it 10 times a game with Taysom Hill. And it's not a gadget play. It's part of the offense with that guy. So the fact that you would ever get into a game week and not use Taysom Hill is the perplexing thing for me. And that's what Dennis Allen was asked. Like, is this the recipe for consistent offensive successes? More Taysom Hill.
Yeah, I think we got to look at that on a week-by-week basis. I'm not ready to sit here and say that we're going to just carbon copy the game plan for next week. You know, next week we got a different opponent. It'll be challenging. So, but yeah, I thought it was a good plan, and I thought our guys executed it.
You don't have to carbon copy the game plan. But can I point something out to you real quick? If you look at Taysom Hill's game logs this year, okay? Against Atlanta, by the way, the game the Saints won. 4 carries for 81 yards and a touchdown. Remember the Saints' first touchdown drive? They blew the game open when Taysom got going and basically took over that drive. He was also 1 of 1 catching. Against the Seahawks, 9 rushes, 112 yards, 3 touchdowns. Against the Raiders, 10 carries, 61 yards, averaged 6.1 yards a carry. Also caught a pass for 11 yards. And then the Rams, 9 carries for 52 yards. I mean, look at his game log. Like, it is so abundantly clear. When Taysom Hill runs the ball and plays well, the Saints win. The Falcons, the Seahawks, the Raiders, the Rams. Taysom Hill's 4 best games where they used him the most. Taysom Hill's 4 best games where they used him the most. The Falcons, the Seahawks, the Raiders, the Rams, the Saints. Those are the 4 games the Saints have won this year. Look at when they've looked their worst. 10 points against Pittsburgh. 3 carries, 1 yard, didn't throw him a pass. Look at the game against Baltimore. You were atrocious. He ran the ball 1 time. 1 time for 6 yards. Like, this ain't hard to figure out. I got an 11-game sample. You've won 4 times. The 4 times you won, he was heavily involved. The rest of the times when your offense looks awful, he don't do nothing. Get the dude involved. Like, that's binary. That's, as Terry would say, that's digital. Get the dude involved. You're better when he's involved. Why do I see this and the head coach of the Saints doesn't see this? All right, it's after further review. Brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service, name brand tires at wholesale prices, ShawBillsTire.com. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. It is coming up toward the holidays, y'all. You're going to be traveling for Thanksgiving, traveling for Christmas. You need new tires on that vehicle. Don't trust just any tires. Shaw Bills has name brand tires at wholesale prices. It's ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, we went a little long with Cole because he started talking about, oyster dressing and all different types of stuff, stuffing or dressing or whatever. So let me quickly get to break. We'll come back and Muse will wrap up with Tigers and the Pros.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org for the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Of course, part of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, expanding health care in the Baton Rouge area. And remember, this holiday season, the Baton Rouge General will again have the holiday lights at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. So go to the website at brgeneral.org. Right there on the homepage, you can learn more. The holiday lights at the Baton Rouge General starting November the 19th. So it's already up, actually, through Christmas or through New Year's Eve, December the 31st. So tickets are required December 1st and 15th for snow and glow as well. So check out all the stuff that they'll have going on at the Baton Rouge General Hospital if you want to check it out and sort of get festive. brgeneral.org. You can take a stroll through the lighted pathway. You'll see all these holiday sightings on display. Tree lights with Christmas dancing lights with mega trees. It's going to be really phenomenal. Check it out. brgeneral.org.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
My dad just really enjoyed his life, and he enjoyed smoking cigars and thought he was invincible. My stepdad quit smoking, and he really felt like he was in the clear. Sorry. I wish they would have been screened annually. It's not just you affect, it's your entire family.
For more information on Ochsner's free smoking cessation program and to see if you qualify for early lung screenings, visit ochsner.org/quit.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Maddy Hudak in about 25 minutes from right now. Right now, Muso has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
We'll start with Grant Delpit and the Cleveland Browns. Delpit turns in a solid game from his safety position yesterday. 6 total tackles in the game, 4 of them solo. Cade York yesterday, 1 of 2 on the field goals. He had 1 blocked in the game. Did have a long of 32 and along with 32 and nailed both extra points in the game. Browns lose to the Bills. For the Carolina Panthers, great day for Terrace Marshall Jr., leading receiver for Carolina. 3 receptions, 76 yards. Didn't find the end zone, but had a long of 34 in the game. They would lose to the Ravens. Leading tackler for Baltimore, no surprise here, Patrick Queen. 12 total tackles in the game, half a sack, and an extra hit on the quarterback. Cowboys and Vikings, Damone Clark out there for Dallas, 3 tackles in the game. Patrick Peterson for Minnesota with 5 tackles and 2 TFLs in the game as well. And Justin Jefferson, a bit of a slower day by his standards, only 3 receptions for 33 yards off of 5 targets. Finally, Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals, 24 of 39, 355, 4 touchdowns in the game, only sacked twice, and added 5 yards off of 4 carries on the ground. The Bengals, they beat the Steelers. They still await the return of Jamar Chase. That is Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. For Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, we do appreciate our friends at Lee Michaels. And look, it is engagement season. Gentlemen, If you're thinking of popping the question, Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry can help. Online, lmfj.com to see the beautiful selection. And remember, with every diamond, you always get the Lee Michaels experience. So you don't buy a diamond every day. You want to go where you're going to get a fair price, but someone who's going to treat you great, to explain all of your options and value you, that's Lee Michaels. For more than 40 years. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Did get a text in the show from John who said, what day is Russ 8-4 Mitchell coming on? John, the same day Russ Mitchell comes on every week and has for like 12 years. He's coming on Wednesday at 5:15 Central Time, that is. But thank you very much for listening. But mark it Wednesday in hour 3, like he has for a decade. We appreciate it. You can always text us, 335. Nope, that's not the number. Never mind. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. Hour 3 next.
AFR.
Jesus. All right, South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. I'm not going to give you the phone number there. Just go to the website, southpointvw.com. New certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Remember, if you are thinking about a new vehicle, you can reserve your ID4 now. Electric vehicles are the rage. You know they're becoming more and more prominent, and Volkswagen has their all-new ID4 available. You can reserve yours at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Go to the website right there on the homepage. You'll see where it says make a reservation, and you can reserve your brand-new ID4 from Volkswagen. southpointvw.com. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. Go search the inventory, new or certified pre-owned. You can check it out there. You can search by year, make, model, body style, price. If you're looking for certified pre-owned, they got it. It's at South Point Volkswagen. If it's on the lot, it's online at southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I'm Sylvia Weatherspoon. Chris Nakamoto is just getting back from court where a grand jury's indicted the Plaquemine police chief. Chris was first to report this was coming just a few weeks ago. WBRZ reported Chief Kenny Payne's accused of asking a woman for sexual favors in exchange for having her boyfriend's charges dropped. Payne faces 5 felonies and is also accused of using his position of power for personal gain. You can see Chris's in-depth report on the 6 o'clock news.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
This is SportsCenter. I'm Kevin Winter. Jets head coach Robert Saleh for the first time non-committal on the status of Zach Wilson as his quarterback.
I've got to be able to sit back. I think we all got to be able to sit back and just look at what's best for this organization and this team.
Saleh meeting with the media on a Zoom call, 90 minutes late, by the way, with what he described as personal issues with his staff. Saleh would not even answer whether it would be Mike White or Joe Flacco should Zach Wilson get benched. The Jets' offense was abysmal yesterday, and that's being nice. And then Wilson did not endear himself to his teammates. He was asked after the game whether he felt like he and the offense let the defense down. He quickly responded no, twice. The United States men's national soccer team opening up their World Play Group B, playing to a 1-1 draw this afternoon against Wales. The U.S. dominant in the first half, led 1-0. On a Timothy Weah goal, but a bad challenge and a foul inside the penalty box in the 82nd minute. Gareth Bale slams home the PK. U.S. and Wales, 1-1 draw. Up next is England on Friday. England hammers Iran today, 6-2, coverage 2 Eastern.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options. An easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Maddy Hudak in about 15 minutes from right now. Looking forward to it. Maddy does a little film study for us. Saints win 27-20. See what she saw that allowed the Saints to have the success that they did. That's coming up again in about 15 minutes from right now. On Monday, Brian Kelly met with the media and did go over a lot of the injury situation that's happening right now. LSU was afforded a great opportunity on Saturday against UAB. They were afforded the opportunity to rest a lot of guys late in the season. And when you get into this point where, you know, you've had the grind that you do of playing an SEC schedule and you get this opportunity in late November to rest some guys, it's a great opportunity to be afforded. So Josh Williams got to rest. Charles Turner did not start at center. Marlon Martinez started in his spot. Kayshon Boutte was sick with the flu and obviously didn't go, and they didn't need him to go. So it was a good opportunity. Brian Kelly did update a lot of their status. Let's start with Josh Williams, though, number 12. We couldn't use Brian Kelly updating Josh Williams' status after he did not play against UAB.
Josh is making progress. As we mentioned, he had a knee sprain. We want to be very careful and take our time and bring him back accordingly. But each and every day, he's made the kind of progress necessary to hope that he could play this weekend.
So I think it was a general belief that if they were playing A&M on Saturday, Josh Williams would have played. But you just had the luxury of not having to play him. And it gave Noah Cain a great opportunity. If John Emery couldn't hang on to the football, and Noah Cain made the most of it and may very well get more reps now. We also got to see Garrett Dellinger back. Remember, injured his knee, had missed about a month, and was available a week ago against Arkansas but didn't play, but did get his first action again since the injury on Saturday against UAB.
Yeah, so Dellinger got some playing time. I thought he contributed nicely to the rotation, playing at the guard position. As you know, we started Martinez at the center position. I thought he did a nice job. And again, I think, Dellinger's best position is and more comfortable at the guard position than he is at the center position, so we'll continue to work him in.
That's pretty obvious. And look, we saw Dellinger play center in the opener. It didn't go well. You moved him to guard. He's one of your best 5 at guard. What you have done, though, is establish some depth at center now behind Charles Turner with Marlon Martinez playing well on Saturday. A couple of other players that Brian Kelly mentioned. One of them is Quincy Wiggins, and Quincy Wiggins he's a freakishly athletic guy. Many people know he's a true freshman, but had a foot injury, and we learned today they've definitively decided already that he is going to take the red shirt, but he gave an update on Quincy Wiggins.
We made the decision to redshirt him. He got to his 4-game threshold, and we pulled him from, obviously dressing. And certainly that was the message, I think, that was sent to everybody. He has really flourished in the last month. Kind of the light's gone on. I think what we had early on was a young player that you know him as well as anybody from being here locally and following him in high school. He had not a lot high school experience even. Hadn't played a lot of football. I think coming down with us and me getting the chance to see him every day on scout team, he's learning how to play the game the right way, and pretty excited about him moving forward.
So Quincy Wiggins is going to be a huge part of LSU's defensive line rotation moving forward. But what's interesting about that is Brian Kelly talking openly about redshirting players in an era where, just consider this, right? In an era where the transfer portal is so prominent, and most guys that are highly recruited have it in their mind when they show up on campus, they're going to be here 3 years, maybe 4. There are very few dudes that come to LSU with the idea of, I'm here for 5 years. It's just not the culture anymore, where guys if you're a good enough player to sign with LSU, you're thinking, I'm going to be in the league in 3 years. Worst case scenario, 4. Not many are thinking 5. And if you're willing to take a redshirt year, you're having that conversation with the coaches, and they're very actively being thoughtfully saying, I'm preserving this 5th year. Now, maybe it's for here, maybe it's if they transfer, a place happens, but either way, the player still has to be on board with it. And if the player says, Coach, I want to play, like I'm not interested in taking a redshirt year, then my assumption is you'd play him. And that changed, that whole mindset changed. And the guy who made it so clear to me was with his situation was Michael Brockers. If you remember Brockers, y'all, Brockers came here in 2010. He redshirted in 2009. In 2010, he played as a redshirt freshman and was great. And then as a sophomore, a redshirt sophomore, third-year player in 2011, had a blow-up year, became the 15th, 16th pick of the draft. You got basically 1 full season out of Michael Brockers. And at that point, Les said never again. And if you remember, Les's big thing, one of the things that they pushed was, we play freshmen. We play freshmen. We play freshmen. And it was how you landed a lot of guys like Fournette and Malachi Dupree and Jamal Adams and a lot of dudes who knew they were 3 into the league and they wanted to play early. And LSU was going to play them. And you're seeing a different tact with Brian Kelly. It's interesting that a guy like Quincy Wiggins is like, okay, I'll take the red shirt. And the other one is Derek Davis. Derek Davis was a freshman a year ago, y'all. And Derek Davis played in 12 games a year ago. But only now is he going to take the red shirt. Remember, he's a safety who played running back in high school. He's a safety who, out of desperate need on Saturday, played some running back for LSU and looked pretty good. Here's what Brian Kelly said about Davis.
I think what we saw that was his last game. He's at the 4-game threshold, and we want to preserve his year because we saw some talent there. So for the Derek Davis fans out there, you won't see him again. He's done for the year. But, yeah, pretty excited about his future. And, we want to preserve the years that he has left. And it doesn't make sense now to put him in a game and have that be the 5th game. That's not fair to him. He made a decision to help us out, and we're going to make sure we help him on his end too.
He was the top 5 safety in the country when he signed with LSU. Played some running back on Saturday and is essentially saying, yeah, I'll take a redshirt year, Coach. I mean, you're seeing Brian Kelly with these decisions by these players who are choosing to take a redshirt year are telling you, Coach, if you need me here for a 5th year, I'll be here. Or at least have the opportunity to be here, which is pretty incredible to think how that's all transpiring. That's how you lay the foundation for this program. I mean, Davis, again, is a guy who played as a true freshman and is redshirting now in his second year. That's kind of what Miles Brennan did. Remember, Brennan played in 17, but redshirted behind Burrow in 18. It's unorthodox, but you're seeing it there. And I asked Brian Kelly this question because, and look, that's not an injury situation with Davis, but a lot of the other ones are. And by and large, I think many of you would probably agree with this, and Brian Kelly did when I asked him the question, but LSU has avoided the major injury. Mason Smith, obviously, and you've had bumps and bruises along the way. Garrett Dellinger missed some times. We saw Josh Williams has a knee sprain right now. You lost Armani Goodwin. So there have been some, as is to be expected throughout the grind of a 12-game SEC season. But by and large, this has been a really healthy football team. And I asked him kind of like, is it luck, or how are you all preparing to have these guys healthy in November?
Making sure that our players understand that if you want to be better in November, you better have a comprehensive plan that takes 365 days into account. So January and February and March, you're not out doing crazy things. And what I mean by crazy things, that you're overtraining, but you're training appropriately, your football team. So when you get to these days, that you don't have soft tissue injuries, that you don't have injuries that keep your kids out of practice. And I think it's how you practice, making sure that your players take care of themselves. I can tell you that in our spring, we didn't know how to practice, and we learned how to practice the right way. So we would be at this point and have the players available in the month of November and getting stronger as we went along.
Dude said in the spring his players didn't know how to practice. For a long time, people have said all LSU ever needed was an adult in the room. And they got it right now. And we are seeing that clearer and clearer with every day as more of his plan unfolds. And you continue to supplement that type of structure with the talent that Brian Kelly will. 9 wins already in year one, knocking on the door of 10 wins, already playing in an SEC championship game. I get it. I get it why everyone associated with this program is rightfully excited about where it's headed. Still a lot of meat left on the bone this year. All right, it's after further review. Maddy Hudak, let's talk some Saints next. AFR.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout-out. Presented by Darren James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty.
Another 5-star review. This one says, Darren and his team are extremely professional, so easy to work with. This was the best experience we've ever had with a real estate agent. We highly recommend Darren James. Listen, Darren often says, if it's important to that person, if it's important to that client, then it's important to me. And that's Darren's entire approach. If it's maybe you're a married couple trying to buy your first home. Maybe you're a family dealing with a succession after the passing of a loved one, a relative, a parent. Maybe you're a family that unfortunately is dealing with divorce and you're going your separate ways and you need to work out a home or real estate situation. Darren is all about getting you the best result and getting you to whatever the next phase of life is in as stress-free a way as possible. You need to sell your home, you need Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. and backed by the one-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
My dad just really enjoyed his life, and he enjoyed smoking cigars and thought he was invincible. My stepdad quit smoking, and he really felt like he was in the clear. Sorry. I wish they would have been screened annually. It's not just
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
They can still pick up a first down without reaching the end zone. The throw goes to the end zone. Juwan Johnson, touchdown, his fifth in the last 5 games.
All he does is catch touchdowns. How about Juwan Johnson? Playing great with the opportunity afforded him. Love when we get a chance to visit with Maddy Hudak. She's on Twitter at Maddy Hudak _94. Do a little Saints film review. Maddy, we appreciate you. How are you?
I'm good. I was officially shamed into getting a new pair of AirPods after our last conversation, so hopefully no random beeping on this call.
Muse, what was the beep for those that missed it? When Maddy was with us last time, there was just random like beep, like it was obviously. I thought, was it call waiting or something? No, it was just her face.
Oh, I could do it.
Did we get a beep count last time?
It was, if memory serves me correct, it was 13.
13 beeps. Yeah, it was 13. I thought it was more than that, but 13 beeps was, I guess, sufficient. Hey, Maddy, let's start with Juwan Johnson, since that's the clip we just played there. How has he been able to be so effective in carving out this role?
I think his acceleration is really what sticks out. It looks like he's one of the highest in his position group in that acceleration when he declares on his route. And he's really good off the line of scrimmage of looking like he's about to run like a post or something up the seam, and then declares his cuts a little late and just did a really good job of that in that game. His touchdown in the end zone kind of reminded me of the Jeremy Shockey type plays back in the day, where it's a very simple assignment, just get into the end zone, turn around, and sit down with the football. And he has that physicality to be able to kind of do that. I had seen somewhere where he said he's kind of running Mike Thomas's routes and has been watching a lot of film trying to emulate him. And that shows, I think, in the way that he kind of has made those contested catches. There was one on cover 3 where, the weakness there is up the seams right in between the two middle of the field safeties. And it looks like he was going to go deep up that seam, and they loaded that side with receivers to kind of confuse them. And he just did a really good job of turning around, making that cut, and having good hands, because we've also seen a lot of drops this season when guys have been in position to make catches. So for him to be able to kind of declare routes late, make himself a target by getting separation and then making the catches, his switch from wide receiver to tight end was really smart to me.
Are you seeing him more as a tight end than a receiver in the role he's had here in the last month?
Yeah, I think especially in the red zone target, I think it's kind of what the vision was supposed to be for Jared Cook, and he just did not have the hands to do any of what they were asking. I just think that his size and his physicality favors that role a bit more, especially when they're kind of lacking in that room.
Maddy Hudak's with us. She's on Twitter at MaddyHudak_94. The other guy who obviously had a monster day on Sunday was Taysom Hill. So, okay, Maddy, like it's very obvious, and I went through the numbers earlier. When Taysom Hill is really involved, they win. When he's not, they don't. So, what was different yesterday that allowed Taysom to have the success he did?
It's just such a funny tale to me, the whole Taysom Hill story from start to finish. I did see some stat where the Saints are 3-0 and he has 9 or more carries, but it looks like they allowed him a little more decision-making in this game, and it wasn't so much he's coming in for a quarterback power and there's no reading of the coverage. So getting him into more of those play-action roles, you could see him working off Kamara and reading the coverage, seeing when the defensive end was crashing down and deciding to hand it off so Kamara could run off the middle. But he and Kamara just oddly have a very complementary skill set in terms of power rushes out the middle, but that speed to get around the perimeter and have those outside zone runs. So it almost felt like more of a 2-quarterback system you see in college, because they also had throwing quite a bit in that game, and the throws weren't that great, but once one stuck, now you have to kind of respect the passing game from Taysom Hill enough to not totally stack the box. So I just think the unpredictability and really leaning into that for once and not kind of putting him in just to snap the ball and take off right down the middle and giving him some creativity there and allowing him to try to get some passes off, especially not in play action type situations. He did drop back on some of those. I just think he's that X factor that this wouldn't be something I would suggest if they had a franchise quarterback back there, but with what they have going on right now, he really is a weapon in both now the passing, the running game, and just the offense getting it all going with good blocking up front as well.
Andy Dalton obviously also had a very efficient day. And Maddy, this has been the sort of conflicting thing, right? There have been times this year where he looks really good. He looked good against the Raiders. He looked good against the Seahawks. And there's been times where he looks objectively very bad to where people are calling for his job. Do you see, and like, first of all, so what did you see against the Rams? But also, is there anything that leads us to believe that there's that he can develop consistency there again?
There's been a couple of games this season where he's been starting where he just gets the ball out quick. His release is very quick, and especially in this type of game with Bobby Wagner and Aaron Donald lining up all over the place against 3 backup O-linemen. That touchdown pass to Olave where he was getting a hit and still managed to get that off, that really shocked me from the press box. I just frankly didn't think Dalton had it in him. So that kind of showed a lot to me. But I just think his quick trigger and just really working well with an offensive line that he probably had little familiarity with at this point because he's been the starter for a few weeks now, so he's been working with the ones. I don't think that he, again, is a long-term answer, and there are times where you see him holding on to the ball for too long and taking the sacks when he shouldn't, but you've seen that with pretty much every quarterback back there since they've been trying to replace Drew Brees. And I just think his veteran savvy showed a lot when basically, we kind of joked that the game plan was to expect to get murdered and get the ball out, but they had to know that this is a game where they'd be under severe duress. And he again, just this kind of quick intermediate passing game. You call him dink and dunk, and I think that has a negative connotation, but that's exactly what the Saints need right now to sustain drives. Their first drive was like 6 minutes long, and not really stuck out because the amount of 3 and outs they've had this season have been what's really did them in.
Maddy, let's flip the field, talk a little bit about the defense in the day that they had, which was also very good. Now, understand no Cooper Kupp, no Matthew Stafford. Let's start with Caden Ellis. The stats are very obvious. 11 tackles, he had 1.5 sacks. He stuffed the stat sheet. But sometimes I'll say this, Maddy, like I use Bobby Richardson as the example. Remember when he came as an undrafted rookie free agent out of Indiana, and he ended up starting, and he made a lot of tackles, and he got cut the next year. And it was like, well, he didn't play great, but somebody's got to make the tackles. It looks like objectively Caden Ellis isn't just stuffing the stat sheet. Like, he's become a really good player. What is it about Caden Ellis' skill set that's allowing him to play at the level he is right now with Pete Werner out?
Sticks out to me is just his mental processing and play speed, because you see a lot of guys make the read and then they don't really know how to get around the edge and stuff the run, and just his reaction time when he sees a play. He actually has a solid group of pass rush moves where he legitimately won using a swim move. He juked one of the pass rushers in the backfield at one point, and just his short area quickness and decisiveness at rushing towards the quarterback. Quan Alexander was good at getting into the backfield, but I always felt like once he got there was a little bit of a delayed reaction sometimes. I'm wondering if he should bat the ball away or just go for the sack. And, man, Caden Ellis just goes for it on everything. But when you can affect all three phases of the game as a backup, he was in coverage, and they allowed some incompletions, but so was Pete Werner, and there were no yards after catch in any of those situations. He did break up, I believe, 2 passes, but the runs up the middle have been killing this team all season, and I would credit the pass rush as well. But Caden Ellis made several stops where he just does a really good job of scraping through traffic and shooting towards a tackle and reading handoffs in the backfield, and again, just making the decision to go for it at all times. I think he's just really the definition of a next man up, and the fact that they played so much 4-2-5 coverage, only keeping 2 linebackers out there when that room is so thin, to me said a lot about how much they valued Caden Ellis' abilities in blitzing, passing, and run situations.
Is he a starter in the NFL?
He certainly could be. I mean, he's not Pete Werner, he's not Demario Davis, but not everyone is. And I think a lot of teams, quite honestly, would be looking at Caden Ellis and wishing they had him over some of their rooms. He certainly has a size.
Yeah, it's been impressive. I mean, I guess, Maddy, we've seen throughout the years a lot of guys who, in spot duty, play really well on a backup role, really good special teams guys. I mean, Craig Robertson comes to mind. Was an incredible special teams guy that when you had a linebacker go down, he would always be in the right spot, could make a lot of tackles, but when you were asking him to be your 3-down linebacker, be a starter, that just wasn't his role. Ellis looks like he fits. I mean, he looks the part out there, has these last few weeks. One more for you. I want to ask about defensive end as well. No Cam Jordan, no Marcus Davenport. How in the world did they make that work?
Again, I'll point a lot to Caden Ellis, and I will say to your point that I wanted to point out his blitzing last year was something that stuck out to me, too, as a tandem with P.J. Williams. So you know that trait is definitely there. But Zuniga, I have really not seen much of him. His closing speed was super impressive, but talking about, setting the edge, Carl Granderson, to me, really had a great game. He just had such quick play speed. He was shedding his blocks and getting into the backfield. He forced 2 hurried throws that ended in incompletions, but it was also the interior. There were a lot of runs that they tried up the middle where David Onyemata, who I also don't think has had the strongest season necessarily, he shut all of those down. And so when you have those guys beating people on the edge, I think Contavious Street was involved a little bit as well. But just Carl Granderson's hustle there, forcing them to really move on the fly, especially when they kind of had to go back to their backup quarterback who had a little more mobility. He did a good job of chasing him down as well. I would also credit a lot of the defensive backs who I thought had a much better game of tackling in space coming downhill, because there were some misses by the defensive line, but it just felt like all 3 phases of the game were in sync for once. And the pass rush only rushed 4 most of the time, and they've been trying 5, 6 at times to get stuff going. But when the Saints can get 4 pass rushes into the backfield, that's their brand of defense. And Shai Tuttle was involved in there as well. Again, it just felt like there was this new mentality of, this is the starting lineup now, so you better make it work. I think that's Cam Jordan's 2nd game ever missed and 1st ever with an injury, because the other one was due to COVID. But Carl Granderson's been in that room for a long time, and I think his veteran experience and savvy showed.
We will see if the Saints can carry it forward. A tough one next week in the Bay Area there in Santa Clara against the Niners. Maddy Hudak joining us. We always appreciate it. Follow Maddy on Twitter at MaddyHudak_94. Maddy, we appreciate it as always. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, be well. Did you hear? She said beep.
That's really good.
That was
She's good.
What a dismount. So good. I mean, monotone steady without even missing a beep. I was going to say beep, yeah. We got to get a rim shot. Nope, I want a rim shot.
That's what I got. It's got what I got right now.
I want a rim shot. Got to have it. I got to have that. Move forward. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by a Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. 924-2020. Y'all, we're getting near the end of the year. If you have HSA or FSA dollars, remember, you can use them on LASIK. And they expire at the end of the year. So make that consultation now. Look, it's November 21st. We're almost to December. You got to schedule that consultation. The reason it's important to call now is you got to get the consultation with Dr. Blake. And then if you proceed with surgery, then you got to get onto his surgery schedule. And you got to do all that within a little more than a month. So go for that consultation. If you've been sitting on the fence, the time is now. LASIK could be a great Christmas or holiday gift for the person in your life, or maybe the gift to yourself. Give yourself the gift of sight. The Williamson Eye Center can make it happen. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. We're going to come back. We'll do our college football takeaways. If you missed it, Southern Cal has leapfrogged LSU in the AP and coaches poll. I want to react to that, which we'll get to here in a second. We did mention the Saints, the next two. They go to the Bay Area to take on the Niners, and then they'll go to the other coast to take on Tampa on Sunday Night Football in consecutive weeks. So it's the thing I warn against. Yes, enjoy the win. There's only been 4 all year for the Saints, and I think there's only potentially 2 more, the home games against Atlanta and Carolina. But understand, what the Saints are. The feeling you had today is probably the feeling you had after the win against the Seahawks, the win against the Raiders. But the Saints are a bad team. And when you're a bad team, you don't find consistency. That's what good teams are consistent. That's the difference in the NFL. The Saints are not that. So they're an 8-point underdog on the early line in San Francisco next week. 8. They're an 8-point road underdog. That should be very telling. Okay, quick break. Our college football takeaways from the weekend, and I'll react to to Southern Cal leapfrogging LSU in the polls next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, where not only are they always on time or you don't pay a dime, but they always take great care of you. This is a 5-star review from Timothy Spruill, who said, always friendly and on time, very professional and informative, detailed notes and pictures to document work done and conditions found, very pleased. Another 5-star review from River City's 1 Hour Air. You'll see them all over town. Big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. And y'all, we are into the winter months where the cold weather is here. You are cranking up that heater. Make sure it is safe and efficient to run this winter. Let River City's 1 Hour Air come on by. Have that preseason heater safety check. Mention the Moscona special. You'll save $30 on the service. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001. 752-0001. Nights, holidays, or weekends. They're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Corvette Toyota in Opelousas, we're happy to say we have vehicles in stock and more coming in at no markup. Don't pay over MSRP. Come on down to Corvette Toyota and pick out your new Toyota today. That's Corvette Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at Running.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Pellies are back on the floor tonight, so Merry Christmas, everybody. And how about this little Christmas present to open? Pelicans just tweeting moments ago, Zion Williamson is active for tonight's matchup against the Golden State Warriors. Pels are a 10-point favorite in this ball game tonight at the Blender. So see if the Pellies can go out, get them a win tonight against Golden State, who tonight will be without Draymond, Steph, and Clay. So the Warriors without their squad. Pellies get Zion back, and see if the Pellies can go get a win tonight as a 10-point home favorite over the Golden State Warriors. All right, it's after further review. We are glad to have you aboard with us here. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, our college football takeaways. Yes, Muse, hit it. Thank you. I knew there was something.
Another week in the books. What did we learn about the landscape of college football?
Muse, what did you learn about the landscape of college football?
Well, first and foremost, we're in the midst of another Kirk Ferentz special. This is what he does, right? I mean, Iowa was abysmal to start the season. They've scored 30 or more points one time this year. Yeah, but they're great on defense, and they're 1 win away from going to the Big Ten championship and another 8-win season for Kirk Ferentz.
He has made a lot of money. Paulie, what did you learn this weekend?
I learned that the Vols' playoff hopes are no more.
Now, that is a fact.
South Carolina routed Tennessee 63-38.
Yeah.
A week ago, South Carolina only scored 6 points.
Yeah. Wasn't nothing fluky about that, bro. Spencer Rattler was throwing dimes from the beginning of that game. It was impressive. I learned that there was a top 4 malaise. Georgia eked past Kentucky. That game was 9-0 at halftime. All field goals for Georgia. Ohio State was in a dogfight with Maryland before eking past them 43-13. They were a 4-touchdown favorite in that game. Michigan, God bless, old Burt Bielema absolutely gagged away an opportunity at a top 5 upset by playing way too conservatively, but Michigan escapes 19-17. How about Harbaugh kicking a field goal down 4 with 3 minutes to play? You want to talk about having zero respect whatsoever for the other team's ability to move the football?
Yeah.
Harbaugh was down 4 at his own, or at the Illinois 20. I mean, they were there. They were close. Kicked a field goal with 3 minutes to play. And Illinois ran it 3 times. Michigan called 3 timeouts, got the ball back at midfield, and kicked the game-winning field goal. Unbelievable. And then TCU against Baylor. Yeah, Baylor, you just... Thanks for nothing, jerks.
Kind of piggybacking off of Paul there. Shane Beamer, you overachiever, you. Look at year 1. Their win total was 3. They win 6, get to a bowl game. This year, I think their win total's 3.5, 4 preseason. They're sitting there at 7 and just continuing to get better. I'm not telling you Shane Beamer's ever going to do what Steve Spurrier did at South Carolina and win 11 games 3 years in a row, but he gets some talent in there.
He can recruit, dog.
And he can do some damage at South Carolina potentially.
North Carolina dropped the ball.
Yeah. Oh.
Literally.
Yes, they did.
Oh.
The second straight season, North Carolina loses to an unranked Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Their playoff hopes disappeared just like that 17-0 lead that they had in that game.
Did they literally drop the ball? You said they literally dropped the ball.
Yeah, so they were going for it on 4th and 11.
Okay.
They hit a wide-open Josh Downs at the 1-yard line, and he literally dropped the ball.
Yeah. You didn't see that highlight or low light? Oh, dude, it was brutal.
Saturday was brutal. You know, you got to keep in mind, Like, normally when I get done whiskey and wine, I go home and then I watch Pac-12 After Dark and college football final.
That's
it was all
fair,
over
yeah.
by the time I got
That's
home.
true.
So I didn't, like, wake up Sunday and go back and watch college football final. I woke up Sunday and watched NFL. So a lot of highlights from games like that I missed because they were playing while LSU was playing. Or I guess maybe by the end of it or whatever. Because they started like 6, that Georgia Tech North Carolina game? Maybe it was 3.
I think it was 3. I think it was
Anyway,
an afternoon game.
Point is, like, I didn't see the end of it. I was already into, LSU coverage stuff. So, no, I missed it. Wow, it's incredible. Morons. Way to go. Southern Cal is a legitimate college football playoff threat, and we all should have learned that this weekend. They are now 5th in both polls. We'll get the college football playoff rankings mañana. I expect that Southern Cal is going to have leapfrogged LSU there as well. Everyone is telling you, if you have a one-loss Southern Cal Pac-12 champion, they are going to be in the playoff.
Staying on. Don't let Vandy get hot.
Oh, stop.
Here come the doors. Clark Lee, we all should have listened to him. He warned us at SEC Media Days. You have 2 in a row now, Matt. Paul, 2 in a row, which Hanny and I were discussing on pregame. It has to be the first time since James Franklin was there. Tennessee, backup quarterback this year. Don't let the doors get hot. Anchor down.
Bartender, cut him off. He's finished. The game is in Nashville this weekend, by the way. Bally.
The Group of 5 New Year's 6 bid is back up for grabs. UCF, who beat Tulane last week.
Yes.
They lost to Navy yesterday.
Yes, they did. Saturday, they did.
So UCF still has a chance. Tulane and Cincinnati still have a chance. They play each other next week. We'll see. But they could also open the door for Coastal Carolina or UTSA.
You shut your mouth. You shut your mouth with your lies.
We'll see.
You deceive the people, Paulie. You and your lying mouth. Poop mouth. Poop mouth. I told you Southern Cal is a playoff threat. So too is Clemson. If Clemson beats South Carolina, which wouldn't that win look a little more appealing this weekend, should they get it? And then they win the ACC championship game, they are not dead. You had better pay attention to the one-loss conference champions. It's the thing that we've been talking about and warning about here, and everyone just wants to assume a 2-loss LSU SEC champ is in. You're going to need help. All right, that's what we learned in the college football weekend, brought to you by Mold Zero USA, mold-zerousa.com, mold-zerousa.com. If you have a problem with mold, Mold Zero USA can help, and we were talking about a minimally invasive way that Mold Zero can get rid of the mold. They spray patented non-toxic dry fog. Gets into every nook and cranny. Remember, non-toxic, safe for your family, safe for your pets, safe for your plants. Non-toxic is the key. All you have to do is wait for the fog to dissipate. Once it is, you're free to go back in your home. We're talking maybe a couple of hours that you're out of your home. Fantastic option. You walk into a mold-free, clean-smelling home. It's Mold Zero, mold-zerousa.com. Serving Greater Baton Rouge and Greater New Orleans. So get the phone number there at the top of the homepage, mold-zerousa.com. So LSU, oh, by the way, I'm excited about this. There is no bigger Wheel of Fortune fan in the city of Baton Rouge than my son, Drew. I am dead serious. If you go to YouTube and look at Wheel of Fortune's YouTube channel, I would estimate that roughly 17% of the total views on all Wheel of Fortune videos, which are in the millions, are my son. Whenever he has his iPad, he goes to YouTube and just watches Wheel of Fortune. Maybe it's how he learned his letters. He loves Pat, Vanna, whatever. He will walk around and randomly just say puzzles. Like, he will just say a string of words together. And sometimes, like, it's before and after. And you're like, what did that child say? Oh, he's just reciting a Wheel of Fortune puzzle. Drew might walk around and randomly say, I'm sorry, that's not correct. Diane, it's your turn. Like, he will recite Pat Sajak. Drew's a little different, but he's the most wonderful, loving little boy you'd ever meet in your life. Tonight, there's a kid from LSU that's going to be on Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, let's go.
How about this? Chris Langley, who, according to his bio, is a LSU mass comm student in broadcast journalism.
Shout out, Chris.
Shout out,
Let's
Manship
go.
School. Chris Langley, who, by the way, follows your boy on Twitter. So I would assume a fan of AFR, or maybe he's just plotting to destroy me. Either way. But Chris Langley, they shot the Wheel of Fortune episode earlier this year, and it's going to air tonight. So 6:30 on WBRZ, so about 45 minutes from right now. Chris Langley with a purple LSU sweatshirt, big block LSU. That's awesome, man. So, my grandmother, who's 88, and my son, who's 8, will be watching tonight.
I'm watching.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
There's no way you're watching that.
I hope
but
LSU
you know what's
wins
gonna
everything.
happen. You know what's going to happen. As soon as they get that episode up on YouTube, boy, you'll see those YouTube numbers go up, 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 up. Just let little Drew Moscona get his little magic finger swiping that YouTube scroll bar on that episode. See what happens. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. All right, it is after further review. I told you I was going to talk about Southern Cal here, but I thought the student Wheel of Fortune was way more interesting because that's happening in 45 minutes, and we got a week to talk about Southern Cal. My only point to you is this. No, the rankings now don't matter. I tell you that all the time. You still got to play games. If Southern Cal loses to Notre Dame this week, then it doesn't matter. If they lose in the Pac-12 championship game, it doesn't matter. But my point all along has been the committee has shown over the years they will find the path of least resistance. And if that means just saying, hey, 2-loss SEC champ LSU makes things really complicated, the path of least resistance is a bunch of undefeated or one-loss champions. And you better believe that one-loss Georgia is getting in no matter what. They did a year ago. Georgia was undefeated. They were number 1 in the country. They lost the SEC championship game to Alabama, and Georgia still got in the playoff. And one-loss Georgia is going to get in either way. So if you have an undefeated Big Ten champ, an undefeated TCU, a one-loss Georgia, and then you're sitting there going, what do we do? And your choices are one-loss USC, one-loss Clemson, 2-loss LSU, the path of least resistance is the one-loss conference champion. I'm telling you, you need help. You need USC to lose to Notre Dame or lose the Pac-12 championship game, and it would be wonderful if TCU could drop one as well. All right, it's after further review. Otterlocks is next. Stick around.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Hey, look, we've told you so much here over these past weeks about a lot of the great NIL opportunities that Gordon has had with the likes of Jaden Daniels and Mason Taylor and Josh Williams, BJ Ojolari. But Gordon McKernan, every year around this time through Gordon gives away roughly 500 new bicycles to kids around the country. Around the state, around the holiday season. So it's a great thing that Gordon does charitably every year during the holidays. And you can go to the website right now to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Go to getgordon.com, and you'll see it right there for Gordon Gives Bikes giveaway for 2022. You can see all the info of how you can enter to win a bicycle for that child maybe in your life and make their holiday a little bit brighter. GetGordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Enter now for a chance to win a catch and cook fishing experience from the Louisiana Charter Boat Association with me, Chef Jay Ducote, winner of Beat Bobby Flay. Register now at gocatch.com. That's GEAUX catch.com.
I am Juliette, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
My dad just really enjoyed his life, and he enjoyed smoking cigars and thought he was invincible. My stepdad quit smoking, and he really felt like he was in the clear. Sorry. I wish they would have been screened annually. It's not just you affect, it's your entire family.
For more information on Ochsner's free smoking cessation program and to see if you qualify for early lung screenings, visit ochsner.org/quit.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. One thing left to do, find out we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
Substituting for the under the weather Jimmy Ott is none other than the Hanny Man. Charles Hannegriff, how are you, Hanny?
Man, I'm doing good, unlike Jimmy, who's like those quarterbacks that all dressed out and warmed up, but then just didn't play in the game. You know, he did all his prep work, was ready to go to work today, and it was a late scratch.
Late scratch, man. That's all right. I know you'll hold the rope, as they say. Hey, where are you tonight, by the way?
We are at Rouge Creole in Perkins Row, which is fantastic. We got all the games on. We have a little Pels here, a little Monday Night Football here. Got a really nice crowd. And about a dozen new items on the menu as of about 2 or 3 trips ago. So, terrific place to come eat.
Rouge Creole is dynamite. If you've never been there in Perkins Row, it is awesome. All right, Handy, what are we looking at tonight, man?
All right, so Jimmy sent me that he would have liked San Francisco at 8, but not at 10, which is where it is. And I'm in the same boat here. Cole McCoy was pretty good last week against the Rams. He's going to be efficient. I think the one thing to watch between now and game time is DeAndre Hopkins and whether he's going to play or not. He's questionable. We're waiting on the inactive list to see if he's going to go. He leads the planet in targets since he came back. So it's a big deal. If Hopkins plays, I'm inclined to take the Cardinals. Jimmy said lay off San Francisco once you got over 8. So I guess 1.5 votes for the Cardinals tonight at Azteca.
All right. They're getting 10. Anything else you're looking at tonight on the card?
Nothing tonight, but I'll tell you this. LSU basketball tomorrow. They've got Akron. Akron blew out Western Kentucky today. Akron was a 6-point underdog to Mississippi State about a week and a half ago, and Mississippi State blew them out, beat them by 19. LSU won and covered very easily today. If you get a spread, I don't know how Vegas feels about Mississippi State against LSU at this point, but if you get a spread similar to what State got, State beat them easy. If you think LSU and State are comparable, if you get a favorable line tomorrow, Akron's somewhere around 6-8, points. Feel all right about LSU.
Hanny following us, game time with Jimmy Ott. Just no Jimmy Ott. It'll be game time with Hanny from Rouge Creole. Tune on in. Hanny, we appreciate it. Have a great show.
All right, Scone, thanks.
All right, man. We'll see you. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. 288-8138. Nope. That's Relief Windows. Relief Window. Why am I jumbling numbers?
You're hurting.
I'm usually so good at this.
It happened a little bit last week, too.
But they're all just jumbled in my brain right now.
364-1007.
Thank you. 364-1007 is the phone number for Hudco Roofing. If you call that number right now, you may get Terrio on the phone. 364-1007. The office line, it forwards to Terrio and Richard Tilley. So chances are you have a pretty good opportunity. Terrio picking up the phone if you call right now. 364-1007-225. Of course, Hudco is Louisiana's first ever Louisiana-based certified fortified roofing company. Listen, wind damage still happens, but if you want to prevent the rain, the water from getting into your house when there's wind damage, you need a fortified roof. And if you have a fortified roof, some insurance companies will reduce your premiums by as much as 50%, 50. Learn more at HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. All right, Muse, what'd you learn on the show today?
Cole Cubelic is really interested in your Thanksgiving dinner.
He's very interested. You know what? He went with all his stuffing, dressing. Look, man, you can keep your cranberry, all that.
Cranberry sauce is gross.
I don't eat any of the all I know is the way my family's done Thanksgiving forever, and it's true like Cajun Thanksgiving. That's all I need in my life, bro. Paulie, what'd you learn today?
Matt House, Broyles Awards semifinalist.
Shout out Matt House. Been awesome this year. He's very, very worthy.
What did you learn today, Matt?
Maddy got AirPods, so we didn't hear cheek beeps throughout the entire interview today. We do appreciate Maddy. Muse, Paulie, thanks. Y'all have an awesome night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. You know where to find them, GMFSmortgage.com. Hey, look, I know interest rates have been such a huge talking point. As, you know, in recent months, we've seen rates tick up from their insane all-time lows in the last couple of years. But rates are still great right now. In an historical perspective, rates are fantastic. Even if you're looking right now thinking, man, I'll wait till the market goes down. There's so many options you have. Maybe if you're still anticipating rates going up, you get in now before rates go up, and when the market corrects, you refi. That's just an example of something you could do, but my highest recommendation is if you're thinking about owning a home, stop renting, start building equity, build wealth. Talk with a local loan officer at GMFS Mortgage. Learn more online at GMFSmortgage.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at